Well, if it isn't the consequences of my actions. No, it's not about COVID. A year of reviewing things has led us to here. A day of reviewing things. Welcome to episode 267 of the Fake Nerd Podcast, our top 10s of 2021. It's been a whole year. I'm trying to forget about it, but I'm joined by my friends. Let's talk about them first. I got Brandon T. McClure. Hello, Brandon.
Hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back. It's been a whole year since we last talked. It's crazy.
Yes.
Ben Magnet, that joke never goes old, I'm sure.
Yeah, it never gets old.
I got Sparks Witty, my brother from another mother in another house at the moment. How's it going?
Not even a house, a hotel.
A hotel. Crazy. There you go. And it's me, Ryan Leopoulos. I have COVID, and that's why Sparks, my roommate, is in a hotel because I'm a sick boy. I don't go out and parties. Don't get crazy conspiracy theorists. I just got irresponsible coworkers, and now I'm one of them. So welcome to the podcast. We're digital. I mean, we're always digital, but we're remote this time.
You were sacrificed to the god of capitalism.
I was sacrificed to the god of capitalism, but I've been home just hanging out with a bunch of cats. It's been kind of nice. Feel poopy, but kind of nice. What's up, Brandon? I don't know how else to go do about this intro anymore.
Well, why don't I just say welcome back? We're back it's been a couple of weeks at this point. This was a nice long break I think we had.
It was mostly nice, I will say. Yes, it has been.
Would have been nicer if Ryan didn't get COVID.
Yeah, them's the breaks.
But while we were gone, we were not done working. There were a lot of stuff that happened between the last episode and this one. Ryan, you did not do a Downright Annoyed yet.
No, that's in the future potentially, depending on what they say. So
that link, if it happens, will be linked below when the audio comes around with this episode.
Bam.
Every time you say future, I always think of Squidward going future.
It's all like
SpongeBob.
All I ever think about. I agree.
I'm full-time writer now. So I'm poor, but I've been writing a lot, and so like there's a lot of stuff from me from Screen Rant, which is up right now. I've once again, like I said last episode, my author page, it will always be linked below as I keep updating that. There's going to be a lot of stuff. I have to write like 5 articles a week, so there's a cool. I really enjoy looking back at the animated movies and shows from last year. Some of the stuff going forward, like sci-fi shows, comedy shows, and things like that. Hey, they're listicles, guys. You know what the deal is. But I'm enjoying writing them. So
that's what's important. That's good.
Wait, that doesn't say Ryan. That says Ben. Ben, you have two old school gamer magazine articles up right now.
I do. The first one of them is essentially like just looking at some of the big headlines from 2021, like the retro headlines, and then the other one is about getting video games as gifts, because during like the week of Christmas, people were wondering was it better to get video games as presents as a kid as opposed to as an adult? And I say, if you get a video game as a present while you're an adult, it kind of means a little bit more. So, I mean, that's my take on it. But either way, getting games as presents is still always a fun time. So, yeah, both those articles are down there in the description below.
It's true. And, Ben, you were very busy as you, Grayson technically released these now, but you were on Grayson Live's YouTube channel. For 2 weekends, there are 2 series up right now, a Mario Party, 2 episodes, and a
Mario
Jeopardy. I did it again. Mario Kart.
Oh, darn.
A Mario Kart. Man, F me. 2 episodes and a Jeopardy 2 episodes.
Yeah. And there's more coming. I can't say what exactly, but there's more on the way. Let's go.
The last Jeopardy. The last Jeopardy. By the way, you told that Mexico story on one of those episodes. It was very funny.
I did tell the me as a first grader thinking Mario was Mexican because I thought he said Mexico in Mario Kart 64. I totally told that story in the Mario Kart episode.
I just want to mention that the Jeopardy episode, the second one, was very frustrating because I knew a lot of the answers that you didn't, and I was yelling at my screen.
Isn't that Jeopardy for you?
Yep, that's it.
I just know that Jeopardy. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I just know that one of the categories was the state of Montana, where my mom's family is from. So of course I'm going in there like, oh, I'm gonna nail this one, and I get a few questions wrong. I'm like, oh no, my hubris.
And remember, Ben, a tomato is a fruit.
Tomato is a fruit. Tomato is a fruit.
That's a callback.
Yeah.
There are some episodes from our network also. That's all the stuff that we have for like the personal stuff, but our network still released some episodes. There was a there are 2 episodes right now, a Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Discovery, episodes 5 is 1 episode, and then 6 and 7 are the next episodes because of the holidays. We had to double up. I really enjoyed 6 and 7. Mike really didn't, and that ended up being a very fun conversation. So I've been enjoying that one. Discovery is on a hiatus for about a month, so we will come back when that hiatus is done. And then we have our Hawkeye Fake Nerds Watch, episode 4 through 6, half of that show.
Well, you talk about the whole thing.
Well, after that, yeah. That's up now, so we finally were able to talk about all that and all the stuff that happened in those last 3 episodes.
Good discussion.
You were not on that one.
No, that was when I was sick before I knew it was COVID. Really good discussion. I now wish like I always want to be part of this stuff, but like I thought you guys had a really good in-depth conversation about everything, and I mostly agree with all of it. Yeah.
There you go. There's a little bit of sizzle there from Ryan.
I never get to listen to our content because I'm usually on it.
I do the same.
Yeah.
There was also something I forgot to mention that I'll bring up right now. That post-credit scene for Hawkeye. Ass. I hate that song.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you're on my side with that one.
Yeah. Boy, did not appreciate that. Actually, I saw that actor, the guy who plays the lead in that musical in another movie.
Adam Pascal.
Yeah.
In a movie I'll talk about today.
Adam Pascal's really great, but like can't salvage that.
No.
For a second, Brandon, I couldn't think about what you were talking about. Well, I was like, what post-credit scene in Hawkeye? There wasn't, the musical number.
You erased
the musical number.
I did.
Right.
I erased it from my memory.
Basement Arcade had an episode as well just before the hiatus where you talked about handhelds with Ron DeFaro and what's the guy's name?
Patrick Brickhouse from Retro Blast Podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That was the last episode of 2020. Hopefully a new episode will be coming up. No, 2021. Shiza.
It's a very long time ago.
Can you imagine? So yeah, that was the last episode of 2021. New episodes will be hopefully coming up soon, but things are going on, so I don't know when new episodes of Basement Arcade will come up, but when they do, cool.
The audio and the video for that are in the link, are linked below. Mortal Kombat X. We finally released the first episode of Mortal Kombat X for Basement Arcade.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, making our way downtown.
It was gonna be weekly, but I can't go home.
Someone got the COVID.
That's linked below though. I'm really excited that's finally up. I rewatched that. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that game and doing that with you guys.
You got caged.
And I'm sure everyone watched it at this point. Nobody's gonna watch it at 2 weeks after, but the holiday annual did go up. We marketed it. That is also a description below if you guys have not seen the holiday annual yet. Hey, give that a check out.
It's definitely a good primer of our top 10 here because we talked about things that we're not going to have time to talk about here.
No. And that's all the links in the description. So who wants to go first with their 3 weeks?
3 weeks mean
Speed
nothing
run.
when you're sick. I'll go first. I caught up on a lot of comics, but I don't need to talk about any of them. I caught up on almost all the X-Men books. I'm staring at them right there because it's a big pile. I caught up on those. I caught up on Iron Man. I'm sure I caught up on other things. There's a lot of comics here. They're all great. Guys, please check out Iron Man. That book is so sensational. It might be a book I talk about a little bit later on more. Let's see. I watched a couple movies that are also going to be on my list later. I was trying to catch up on some movies, but the one I will say is one of my honorable mentions, and I'll talk about now. It's The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is a new Michael Showalter film starring Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain, and that's a movie about some real life evangelicalist. Televangelist. They're evangelicals. Thank you, guys. I got the mind rot. It's gonna be like this the whole show. I'm real tired. Let me tell you. That movie's sensational, and I was really curious about the rave reviews because it's by a guy, Michael Showalter, who worked on stuff like Wet Hot American Summer and some other really abstract comedy stuff. And then he directed The Big Sick with Kumail Nanjiani. So he's been making a real turn to make big ass real movies. Not that they weren't before, but he was mainly a comedian. This movie is incredible, and the performances are sensational. And I had such a good time, and it's so sad and so real. Highly recommended for the performances. The eyes of Tammy Faye, based on a true story. You could have watched those people growing up. They're crazy religious people.
I also watched that movie, and I echo a lot of what you said. I really liked it.
Hell yeah. I played a lot of Fortnite by myself. That's almost sounded like I started crying. Just my voice cracked. I really like the season.
Can we hug you? We're gonna hug you.
Big hugs.
Sorry,
Big
you're
hugs.
playing Fortnite by yourself, Ryan.
No, it's okay. I played a little bit with some friends. I really like the season. It is so fun swinging around in those Spider-Man gauntlets. Like, I actually enjoy getting them. It feels great. It keeps looking better and better. What else? I played some more Halo Infinite. That game's still real fun. I don't know how much longer I have. Probably a couple more hours. I'll probably beat that in the next week. Then I'm still sick. I didn't do shit with you, Sparks, because I haven't seen you. I think that's it. I mean, like, honestly, I've just been like watching a lot of YouTube. I've been rerunning It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because that's my comfort show. Feeling kind of poopy. That's me.
Did you beat Chris Wendell yet?
Oh yeah, he's actually one of the first people you beat. I messaged about that a couple weeks ago. I was like, it took me 20 minutes to beat you, and he's like, I should have took 30, winky face. I'm like, oh, I'm just that good. Sorry, Chris. And yeah, I think that's me. And if I think of something, I'll spit it out later.
All right. Who wants to go next? Ben or Sparks?
I could go. Let's see here. Not really a ton that I need to get into right now. Like, obviously, we did Hawkeye. We could talk about that. You could go see our thing. New chapter.
Oh,
Ooh.
I saw the Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. I also saw.
I assume all of us did that. Yeah.
It since the last time we were here, I have watched all of the Matrix.
Yeah. Yep. Basically. Yeah. Same.
I guess we'll be talking about that soon. So I'm not going to say much about it. But all of the Matrix happened. And many things related to the Matrix.
I watched an hour-long,
all kinds of stuff.
I watched an hour-long video detailing every plot thing that happened in the Matrix Online, so I was fully ready.
Yeah. Man.
I went deep.
I'm so much Matrix in my brain. Flash Armageddon, I finished it. It was good. It was a good event. It's all about Eobard making a reverse flashpoint to screw up Barry's life. The first 3 episodes had a lot of promise, and 4 and 5 kind of like really trip up because this is super weird and I don't want to spend a bunch of time on it, but like, you know how they talked about all the stars that are crossing over into this one, but like they're not all happening at once, so like you kind of get 1 or 2 per episode.
Mm-hmm.
The episode with Batwoman is set in an alternate 10-year future, but she's basically the same as she is currently. Like, it's kind of still talking about the exact same plot stuff that's happening with her right now.
Does she have like a gray streak in her head, or should I?
No, they do nothing to age them.
Come on!
They do 0 to age them 10 years. They are 10 years ahead in an alternate timeline that Thawne had created.
Do they do that?
They do this.
Reason?
She's not. Yeah, it's a plot reason. It's Barry finding out that like Thawne rewrote his life, but I don't know why they had to go 10 years in the future. That's never explained. Why they couldn't have just like. So Barry runs to the future to find out what happens, but like, why do we have to do 10 years? Why is it like? It's a whole thing. They did do a really good. So the beginning of the event, they do this really good thing where like the first 2 episodes had gone by, and I'm like, where's Joe? And why are some people acting weird about when he's brought up? And then all of a sudden you learn that you as an audience and Barry don't know that Joe's dead.
Oh.
And Joe was murdered by Thawne.
No.
But Barry didn't know it, and you didn't know it. And so it's like, oh. And so all these characters are upset because Barry's acting like that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work when like everyone like you find out like at the same time as everyone else that Joe was murdered? Does that make sense? Does that work for them?
Well, you find out when Barry finds out. Everybody else knew.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay.
So you're finding out with Barry, and so Barry's like shocked. That's the shock.
It's not like a complete out of nowhere. Like this comes out. Okay.
Wait.
Barry thinks he's losing his mind, and so he actually goes to Black Lightning and says like, because Despero's saying that Flash destroys the future. It's not Flash, it's the Reverse Flash, but the Reverse Flash has messed Barry up and turned him into the Reverse Flash by creating a Reverse Flashpoint.
Okay.
And so Barry thinks he's losing his mind because he didn't remember Joe dying, and he's like, how could I not remember that? Like, so he really does think he's going crazy.
Gotcha.
And all of that stuff really works, but then we go into this like 10-year thing, and they've change the characters not at all. Batwoman's not the only one who like they decide to pick up the same relationship shit that's happening right now and say 10 years in the future that's still happening, and I'm like, that's weird.
I got two questions. One,
Sure.
is Joe dead in the main timeline or just the
No, once it's fixed,
okay,
then Joe's saved.
got it. Okay, and then
but yes, in the main timeline, when you start the event, which is the start of the season,
yeah,
he's already dead. You just don't know it.
oh, you're already in the alternate timeline.
You're already in the alternate timeline, but you and Barry don't know it.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then did you get everything you wanted out of Black Lightning and the Flash? Because I remember that was something you were excited for since Crisis.
Not everything, but it was really satisfying
Yeah.
to see him. It felt very like rewarding overall. I think especially for people who are fans of that show to get to see that character come back and kind of play like a mentor role to Barry as like a older superhero who recognizes the value of. I think it's a shame that there can't be more of it because honestly, I think his dynamic in the role that Oliver played to Barry makes a lot more sense and works better. But it was nice to even get an episode where they did that.
That's cool.
But the 5th episode includes Mia Smoke and Oliver's daughter, and
from the future.
And they pick up the plot thread with her from the end of her failed spin-off pilot episode. And so they're just continuing it, but they're not resolving it. And she's basically just kind of there to acknowledge that they're still thinking about her. But she adds nothing to the story.
They just didn't want to forget her.
The writers are like, we'll get that spin-off, whether you like it or not.
It's very weird. And like, she could have not been in the episode, and the episode wouldn't have changed at all. Like the story for all the Flash characters, like it doesn't change anything that she's there. It's just kind of stupid that she's included. I'm a little biased because I don't really care for that character, but like she really didn't add anything. Anyway, that's all I really want to say about Flash. A new chapter for Dragon Ball Super came out. It was really good. I'm really happy with it.
I'm getting there.
Megan and I continued watching Scream the series. I only want to talk about a specific thing, which is that so seasons 1 and 2 happen, and then season 3 is different and following different characters, and it's a whole different setup. But season 1 and 2 take place in this place called Lakewood, and season 1 was really good. Season 2 is a little muddled, but overall pretty satisfying. But season 2 left you with a cliffhanger ending, and then they had 6 months later on Halloween, they had like a finale special. And so Megan and I go into that finale special assuming, we're going to tie up that last loose end, and then boom, we're done. We got all the Lakewood stuff done. And they instead introduce a brand new killer and take him on in like an hour and a half and just like handle it. And then at the end of the thing, they're like, but still, there's that other thing that we haven't handled yet, and it never will be. And I'm like, why would you not just solve this thing and be done?
Season 3
had the loose plot thread, and they decided to spin off into a whole other story.
That's five cream right there. That's what that's about.
So that was interesting, but we're enjoying it. We watched the first episode of the 3rd season, which is now with new kids, and I do like it. It's different. It's very confusing, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. First off, both of us were high when we watched it last night. For starters.
I have to deal with the cat thing real quick, but thumbs up.
What happens is that a kid is going around in a Ghostface uniform trick-or-treating with another kid. So he's just, it's the Ghostface outfit, but it's like a cheap costume version, but it's still the Ghostface mask and everything classic. Trick-or-treating, and then a bully steals his candy and throws it over the fence into a junkyard where he says the Hook Man is, and his brother doesn't believe in the Hook Man. So they go in and they try and get his candy, but the Hook Man's real, and the Hook Man gets the kid and stabs him, and he's like, I got you, and that kind of thing, while he's puts like the hook through the Ghostface mask. But the Hook Man is Tony Todd.
What?
And I'm like, is this a Candyman story?
It's the Scream Candyman universe.
And like, I still don't know, because I'm like, wait, because Tony Todd, like, he's just in that opening scene, and then we haven't done anything with him again since. And I'm like, you knew what you were doing, and like they're black kids, and most of the cast is black, and I'm like,
Secret Candyman.
Is this a Candyman Scream story?
Now is it Scrandyman or is it Keem?
Man, I don't know. Okay, so like, it's weird, and the first episode has given me no answer, so I can't help you. But I remember, like, I distinctly like had to turn to Meg and be like, "Did that happen? Did that? Like, I'm high, but I'm not that high. Like, that was Tony Todd."
They were just gonna bring in like a bunch of like famous actors who played serial slashers in like different roles, just like theirs.
That'd be wild. That'd be kind of cool. I don't think that's the bit, but like that would be insanely fun if they just did that, and it's just like convenient like homages. Anyway, that's Scream the series. I watched Iron Man 3 because it was Christmas. Oop.
That's a good movie.
I like that movie.
Very good movie.
I watched a little bit more Mobile Suit Gundam, but not a lot. Watched the first 2 episodes of Boba Fett. Assume we're going to do a conversation soon. We just have to coordinate it, so I'm not going to say a bunch about that.
I also watched that thing.
I did the same.
You're all good nerds, I know. I got a board game called Star Wars Outer Rim for Christmas from a friend, Pepper, and it's very complicated, but also pretty cool. And I don't want to say too much about it, but it's just the layout is very neat with how it does its like space travel. You have, depending what character you choose, this has like Dr. Aphra in it. This has Han Solo. This is all set between 3 and 4. So you're Boba Fett, you're Han Solo, you're Lando, you're Dr. Aphra, you're the Trandoshan, whose name escapes me.
Bosk.
Listen,
for no reason, I'm curious. Is there a black Wookiee named Black Chrysanthemum there?
I was about to say, is there?
No, there isn't.
I'm just curious.
How do you pronounce his name again?
Black Chrysanthemum.
Okay, that's how you say it.
Possibly, unless the show tells us otherwise.
But
I mean, what show? Who knows?
I didn't say anything.
So you're playing these characters, and whoever you pick, you have a different. You get to choose your faction setting. Like, everyone's at neutral. So there are for the 4 factions: the Syndicates, the Hutts, the Rebellion, and the Empire. And you get to choose one of them. You can decide if you're positive with one of them to start the game. And then everything you do after that affects how your faction is handled. And depending on what you do, what kind of bounties you take on or jobs you do, and where you do them, changes the relationship with those factions. And if you happen to run in with the characters who are patrolling for those factions, what happens and how severe the penalty could be or the reward.
I like complicated games because they're usually more rewarding that way.
Yeah, so I really like that. And the last thing I'm only going to gush about a little, because I imagine it's going to come up later, is Arcane. Believe the hype.
Yeah.
I have watched almost all of it. I have a single episode left, and it's killing me. That show's incredible, guys. That show is incredible. I will gush more about it later. Would you believe
it's the most expensive animated show of all time?
100% I would. Yeah. Because it is gorgeous.
That's why all those other Netflix shows look so bad, because this one had to look so good.
This one, I only watched the first episode, and like I was amazed at just kind of the movements of the animated characters, because like I paused it because I was admiring it so much, and I was like, look at that. You see how he's moving his head constantly when he's talking? That's something you only see in movies. You don't see that in television shows because it's very easy to not do that. Well, that's incredible.
Because it costs money.
The animation is so beautiful, and like the story's incredible too. But the animation being so pretty is obviously like wonderful. There's this one sequence, I will say more about Arcane later, but there's one sequence I'm going to bring up just because we're talking about the animation. They do a lot of like montaging over events. You see it a lot in like CW kind of shows a lot, where it gets to the end of an episode and they start showing you like characters in different places with a buildup of music and that kind of thing. This does it, but it does it better. I think more like comic book style, where you're seeing like someone overlaying something and you understand that what they're saying in that moment is relevant to the visuals you're seeing of another moment, that kind of thing. Well, you have one episode where you see 2 characters coming together romantically for the first time, and also another character messing with a gemstone for the first time. And as he's reaching out to the gemstone, him connecting with it is blending into this background that then their bodies coming together is morphing in between the moments of. And it's like, this is art. Like, it's incredibly beautiful. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Fantastic.
So I will say more about that there. But That's it from me.
I wanna real quickly, because I want Ben to go next, but real quickly just say there's a plane crash on my street. I just got the notification on the train tracks that are not far from my street. There is a plane crash.
Wow. I assume it's a smaller plane.
We were right next to an airport. We're right next to an airport.
Wow, that's a big plane.
No, a small airfield.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a small plane.
Yeah.
Was it Harrison Ford? Harrison, you gotta stop, man.
I don't know, but I
God
just got the notification. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Wait for the notification right at the end of this podcast. Indiana Jones delayed another
year.
I hope those people are fine.
Man, that was all right. Ben, you want to go next?
That's gotta be like one weird ass notification. It's like, why the heck is there a plane that just landed on the tracks over there? What the hell?
Then if it falls, it's got to land somewhere.
It's gotta land somewhere. Yeah.
I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. Damn. Okay, so what did I do over my 3 weeks? Like Ryan, I also played some Fortnite by myself. Not because because when I came home from work, everyone else is asleep. Yeah, season's fun. I'm having a good time. I'm slowly but surely inching my way to unlock Spider-Man. I'm on level 75 right now, so I'm getting there.
Wow, good job, bud.
Thank you. Let's see what else. So I started rewatching Demon Slayer and I finished Mugen Train. So I finished the entire Mugen Train arc and I'm on the new season. I haven't caught up on the new season yet, but
you're about to watch Mugen Train again then. Because that's what the second season is.
No, I watched the Mugen Train arc and then I went into the second season. Yeah, so I watched the Mugen Train stuff and then I went straight after Mugen Train. So
okay.
Yeah. Another anime that I also been watching here and there is a long time ago. Sparks loaned me Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket, and I've been watching that. So yeah, it's good.
Did you say War in the Pocket?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Just wanted to be sure.
You know what? You know what the war is over? It's a pocket full of sunshine.
There
it is.
Not the Gundam universe.
Mag is in the chat, says already have the No Way Home bundle and having a ball.
Yeah, you get that integrated suit in the black and white suit or whatever.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
No Way Home bundle. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
Yes. So, other than that, I watched The Witcher. I haven't seen the new season of The Witcher yet, but I watched the animated show on Christmas Day.
There's so much Witcher.
You mean
stuff.
the movie?
Oh
I mean the
movie. I
watched
not the animated show, the animated film. Yeah. Nightmare of the Wolf, which is really good. And as I was watching it, Fanny was sitting next to me because she's already she finished the second season of The Witcher already. So she's sitting there watching the movie with me. And she's like, man, I really wish I watched this before season 2. I'm like, why? It's like, because they mentioned monsters in season 2 that I had no idea who they were. I'm like, oh, well, good thing I'm watching it now then.
It all connects.
Yeah.
Studio mirrored that movie. It's gorgeous. I love it.
It is. Oh, it was so good. It was like, damn, this is just so. Even Fan was like, why have I seen this? I've seen this style before. I was like, yeah, this is the studio that animated Korra and Voltron. She's like, oh, no wonder.
And Dota Dragon's Blood,
which is still on my list to watch. That I haven't.
I'm glad you watched that movie. It's really cool. I love it a lot.
Yeah. Going into other video games, I dabbled a little bit in the Pokemon. I'm on Victory Road, so I'm getting close to finishing that. Also, like Brand said, I've been writing a lot for OSG. Speaking of OSG, I told the 4 of you, but I haven't told
OMG.
Told the 4 of us. One.
Yeah, I told the 3 of you. Shut up. I can't do numbers. You know this. So there's a very good chance that I'm going to get published in the magazine proper soon.
Yeah.
So
here we go.
So I'm just so the owner said he was gonna message me and we'll talk. So if I have to step away, that's why. But I mean, I'll let you guys know what happens. But yeah, I'm like 99% sure because they gave an article I wrote to one of the editors, and the editor said I worked on it and I formatted to fit the style of the magazine. So I'm like 99.9999% sure that it's gonna happen.
I'm excited for you, dude.
Hell yeah!
I mean, that would be awesome. I'm just waiting for the confirmation, and then hopefully, if I get that during recording, I'll step away for a hot second, and then come back and be like, I'm officially getting published. So
you're having a baby! Woo!
But yeah, I'm excited. That's something that's been like, yay. Besides that, otherwise, so I've been reading manga. No, I've been reading manga again. I started reading Final Fantasy Lost Stranger. I got this for Christmas, and then I got the other volumes right afterwards. I've missed reading manga. It's been a long time since I really like dove into a manga series, and I've been like wanting to read the next volume after. I was like just constantly just wanting to get the next volume and wanting to see what happens next. So I feel like this is re-sparking my love of reading, and hopefully I might get more manga soon down the line.
Yeah,
I have a manga for you if you want to check it out. There's a little one called Dragon Ball Super. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I don't know. Maybe that sounds familiar. I'll probably check it out. But
Such a basic bitch.
Besides that, that's pretty much my week. Yeah. I saw Matrix Resurrections, and I played some Knockout City with Brandon. That was fun.
All right, I will go next. I will also say I watched a lot of Matrix, but I'm not going to speak onto any of it because, well, until a little bit later in this episode, but also because we're going to be doing a bunch of Matrix episodes. And so I
hope you guys like the Matrix because you're stuck with it forever.
You're getting 3 weeks of the Matrix, guys.
Once you're in, you can't get out. Once you're jacked in, you can't jack off.
So some of the things I did this week, I'm not going to talk about because they're Christmas movies and who cares. And because there's a couple that are actually on my top 10. So I'll wait there. So I'll just talk about some of the other stuff. The Eyes of Tammy Faye, I already said, like that movie a whole lot. I got into an Andrew Garfield kick. Really enjoyed it. Love him. I watched Matthew Vaughn's first ever movie, Layer Cake.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, an early Daniel Craig, an early Tom Hardy. A lot of great actors in that movie. Matthew Vaughn was kind of mimicking the guy who directed The Gentleman.
Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie. Yeah, Guy Ritchie was initially supposed to direct it, and Matthew Vaughn was going to produce it, and then Guy Ritchie stepped away, and then Matthew Vaughn picked it up. And you can tell he's mimicking Guy Ritchie. So it's kind of a lesser Guy Ritchie movie, but still very good because it's well written and well acted. I don't think Matthew Vaughn really clicked as a director until Stardust, which was his next movie, but still, like, that was the one where I think he really went wild, and that's kind of where it solidified his style. I'm glad he did that because I don't think I would have liked a Guy Ritchie knockoff.
No, he's doing that himself these days. Oh, sorry. I don't mean it.
I watched West Side Story. It's fine. The internet hyped it up. It's a very pretty movie, but it's still the West Side Story. Mm-hmm. People are acting like it wrapped me in a blanket of cinema. I'm so happy you loved it. It's still West Side Story.
I've seen so much acclaim from people I respect that I'm excited to see it for myself.
That's very true. There's a lot of people, like, I understand that my bias comes from the fact that I've seen West Side Story a lot, and I was hoping for something like not different because there's not a change that you can make to that story, but like
East Side Story. No,
but like something that like breathes new life into the story, and I'm like, no, it's just that story. It's very pretty and very well shot and very well acted. But like it didn't scratch the itch I was hoping it would. Is really where I'm coming from.
Not like In the Heights, right? That you saw?
I really liked In the Heights.
There you go.
And I really liked another musical I watched this year. Hilda and the Mountain King. That's the movie from Hilda. Hilda season 2 ended, and then they teased the movie. Really great. I was actually on the verge of tears. It's a fantastic little movie, bridging the gap between Hilda season 2 and season 3. Highly recommend it. And Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time.
I thought you watched it already.
No, I watched the first 3. I never watched the 4th one. So I finally sat down and watched the 4th one. Whew, boy. Wow. Needless to say, I really liked it. I like Evangelion, but there's a lot to talk about, and I really, really desperately hope our 300th episode is about those movies.
Well, it's definitely not going to happen anytime soon, so that's hopefully 300.
Well, but like, remember 200 was the
yeah.
Evangelion, so let's do it. Right. Okay. Cobra Kai season 4, 5th one's coming out. Cobra Kai season 4 dropped just at the end of the year. I watched it. Awesomely stupid. It's a really stupid show, but it revels in its stupidity. And I think that's kind of where they finally figured out what they should be doing and kind of be this ridiculous 80s movie universe that just happened to somehow stumble into 2021. And just kind of have fun with that. And I think that's kind of where the joy comes in. It's really hokey, and the action sequences are better this season. Really enjoyed it. That's a pretty solid show. If you can get through kind of the muddy stuff in the first season of like Do we like bullying? No. The answer is no. Yeah. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, season 3, I think. Season 4. I didn't like it as much as I liked the last one. There's some interesting stuff and revelations to Isla Sorna that I appreciate as a guy who likes Jurassic Park and the canon of the Lost World and things like that. But I think there's a brutality to the season that kind of almost feels mean and turned me off of it because it is meant to be a kid's show. That it just kind of came off meaner than I think they even intended. And so that kind of turned me off the season. There's still some good character work, probably some of the best character work in the series so far. In season 4, that leaves me interested in where they could go. But all in all, I did think it was a pretty big downstep from the 3rd season.
This the one with all the robots and shit?
This is the one with all the robots and shit.
Okay.
Yeah. Watched the Hollywood Reporter Roundtable. I think, Ryan, you also saw this one.
Yeah.
Loved it. Those are some incredibly smart people just talking about the state of everything. A really well-balanced roundtable, I thought. The moderator did a great job. If you guys want to hear Jonathan Majors, Nicolas Cage, Andrew Garfield, Peter Dinklage, and I forgot the last guy's name. You remember it, Ryan?
Rex something.
Yeah, I don't remember. I apologize.
This is like, no, yeah, he's definitely, no offense to him, he's like a guy who's been around for a long time, but he's never done something dramatic like this. So this is like his big, like, oh, I'm a big actor now, I guess. I'm talking to Garfield. So like, yeah, let me just Google it.
Very good. I really liked it. Nicolas Cage, watching Andrew Garfield just fawn over Nicolas Cage's hilarity was very funny.
Simon Rex.
He
was in a bunch of the Scary movies. So like he was one of those guys, and then he's now like becoming an actor.
Yeah. I also caught up on a bunch of the X books. I'm not close to Inferno, but I'm getting there, trudging along.
Hot dog, Inferno number 4, spicy.
I've heard. I'm excited.
Spicy.
And I started a book. I'm insane, apparently, because apparently I like reading. Well, Star Trek, but specifically. Michael Carls recommended that I should check out the Star Trek Destiny trilogy, so I did. I'm about 4 chapters in. It's very good, written by David Mack. I really like the Borg, and I really like these characters, and this is kind of feels like it was written for me.
Nice.
I won't say too much about it until I'm done with it at this point, but yeah, really like it.
Nice.
I'm a real Star Trek nerd. I read the books
that aren't canon.
Much like Star Wars, all the novels aren't canon.
Hey, you know what? Are you having? But the question is, are you having fun, good sir?
I am.
Absolutely.
There you go. That's all you need.
And you know what? I like this more than like Star Trek Picard. So, whatever.
Take that, Picard.
Shall we get into our bread and butter then?
Oh my God! Let's dive right in.
Could really go for some bread and butter right now, actually. That sounds really delicious.
You know, we should always have bread and butter in front of us during the segment.
No, that can't be healthy.
No.
Bring it. Bread makes you fat?
Yeah.
Ben, if you don't mind taking a look at the comment section for me this time.
Yeah. So Max says, hope you're enjoying the Prodigy series.
I am not, and I'll leave it there.
Spoilers.
I think their main character is insufferable.
Oh, no.
All right. Let's get into some sad news, unfortunately.
There's a lot of sad news these past few weeks.
Quite a few people have passed away since the time we were off, such as Derek J. Wyatt, who was an animator who worked on Teen Titans, Ben 10, and Transformers. He's where the visual style for that Teen Titans show came from. He passed away at the age of 49.
Oh, that is way too young.
Yeah. No cause of death was given. Love his work.
Yeah.
Jean-Marc Valley, who was an executive producer and the creator of Big Little Lies, amongst many other things in Canada and France, passed away at the age of 58.
Rest up.
Robert Bruce, who was a member of Comic Book Men, was found dead in a storage unit alone where he was living.
Oh, wow.
At the age of 62.
Well, that's a rough one to hear.
That was pretty rough, yeah.
I used to watch that.
He's not the one with the big beard, was he?
Yeah, I think so.
I never watched Comic Book Man. I apologize.
He's a. Hey, cats, hold on, guys. Sorry.
No, that's sad because I loved watching Comic Book Man when it was on Netflix. I really liked that show.
I watched it a long time ago. Yeah.
Dennis O'Bell, who is a film producer for the Beatles, he was their producer on their later feature films, passed away at the age of 98.
Oh, that's a life.
Yeah, long life.
Yeah.
Peter Bogdanovich, the director of The Last Picture Show and many more, passed away at the age of 82. Ryan Bodenheim was a artist who worked on a number of comic books, currently working on Eternals with Kieran Gillen at the time of his death. He worked on The Dying and the Dead with Hickman, tons of Valiant stuff. He passed away at the age of 44.
That's a big old bummer. I am more familiar with his art. Very young. That's just it's always a bummer when it's always everyone's a bummer, of course. But when he goes so young, it's just like so much more life to have.
John Madden.
Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 85.
Yeah, that one hurt. He, for those of you who don't know, of course, the video game that bore his name, the famous football game, that's been going on since like 1988, 89. His name was on it, and up until the year 2000, he was front and center on the cover. And he also was the coach of my favorite football team. At the time, they were the Oakland Raiders. He took them to their first Super Bowl, never had a losing season. And after he retired from coaching, he was the color commentator for Monday Night Football for years. I remember watching him coming home from school on Monday night. We would put the TV on, and there he was, sometimes with Al Michaels, sometimes with his other partner. And that was a blow to the football world that John Madden passed away. He was a literal giant, and apparently the nicest dude ever, like the nicest guy.
I think anyone of our age bracket will probably recognize his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been such a long time, but like that is like a voice that's like instantly like iconic. Like you know that guy's voice. Even if you don't know football, like even if you're like you said, like a gamer, like you know his name through video games. And like not every athlete can say that, which is which is kind of special.
And the cool thing about it is that when EA went to John Madden, they like went to him and asked him to put his name on it, and also they said, okay, we're gonna have it 8-on-8, and then John was like, no, you need to have 11 players on the field, otherwise it's not real football. He was the one who pushed to have it as authentic as possible, and it turned into one of the biggest, if not the biggest selling franchise in the world.
Yeah, there's a reason why like all those other franchises kind of fell to the wayside.
Yeah. So that was sad.
Betty White.
This was also really sad. God damn it.
Passed away at the age of 99 years old.
Yeah.
Just a couple weeks from her 100th birthday.
Well, if you count all the leap years, people are saying that she did live to be 100. So.
Yeah.
Let's not.
The quote's like, live a life where when you die at 99 is still too young. And I'm like, man, that is Betty White. Yeah. I know she's older than all of us like combined or whatever, but like
she was older than sliced bread.
Literally older than sliced bread. Yeah. Like what really is there to say? Like maybe like I don't know anyone's ever said anything negative about Betty White, right? Like the sweetest, nicest person in life.
She was a trailblazer, and like I could eulogize her easily. She was a trailblazer, who championed social justice and got her show canceled because of it. She was the first lady of comedy, really. Like, and it's such a shame. Like, it's not. She's 99 years old, but like she was such a delightful person that you feel like I didn't get enough Betty White.
Yeah,
I think it's more pointedly a shame because we grew up but like we spent the last decade living in a meme generation where Betty White was the pinnacle of unkillable.
Yeah,
and that was a joke, but like it was a thing that we built up, and then we built up like her 100th birthday as a big thing. Like for me, the thing was that we went and saw No Way Home. Right before No Way Home, they aired a trailer for the Fathom event of her 100th birthday celebration. We walked out of No Way Home. We were informed that she had passed away. Like we made a very big deal of her making it to 100. So it feels like an extra blow than I think it even would have anyway.
Yeah. I was at Target picking up some things with Fanny, and all of the magazine racks, like In Touch, People, Life magazine, even were like all the covers were adored with Betty White, saying that she was going to turn 100. It's like, oh my gosh, Betty is turning 100 years old. The next day, she passes away.
I like. There are two ways to look at it. Like, it is really sad, also, but like, it's also like, how funny is it that like this was her last joke? That's like the day before she turns 100. She's like, "Look how much time you all wasted on me, you idiots!" Like, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a way to go. Like, everyone's like celebrating you before it even happens. Like, I think that's some silly irony in that way.
Yeah, I agree.
What a lady, though.
I love the clip of her that's been making the rounds. After she passed away, when Madame Tussauds unveiled her wax figure, and she's like, "Why couldn't they have made one of me younger?"
Yeah, you immortalized me at 70.
Back in the 50s, and now they look at me. I'm old. What the heck?
She, she was a leading lady for 80 years in the film industry, and that is an incredible feat. The past 3 generations have grown up in a world where Betty White has just been a celebrity.
I remember, like, I watched The Golden Girls when I was younger, but then I remember Grandma's Boy. She was in Grandma's Boy, and I'm like, that was like 20 years ago, and she's been old my whole life, and I'm like,
yeah, she's been old.
She really is never gonna die. Like no joking. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Like, that's 99 is hella old, man.
Yeah.
That's great. That is super crazy. What a life. Good for her.
And she was still, and as far as I can tell, she was still like active and like moving and happening. Like,
she was very energetic.
Yeah. Because when people get up to that age, you can tell it's like sometimes it's like they're a little slower, not as in like they move slower.
Did you see the behind the scenes feature from The Proposal where Betty White tells off Ryan Reynolds?
It's like when Betty White tells you to get a cup of coffee, you get her a cup of coffee.
It's very funny because like Sandra Bullock just goes into Ryan Reynolds like, that is Betty White. She's a national treasure.
She is a national treasure.
Yeah. Adore that woman. She's such an incredible actress and so funny. The Golden Girls clip that I never saw was the one where she's talking about the circus, the salmon circus that her dad tried to set up at Golden Girls, and the other 2 ladies just like losing it because she just goes off on this ridiculous riff of a salmon circus. Very funny.
Love you, Betty.
And then it's just sad that we're just now living in a world without Betty White.
Yeah.
And then finally, Sidney Poitier, the first African-American man to win an Oscar, died at the age of 94 years old. Also,
a long-ass life and legacy, man. Like a social progressive, like in Hollywood at a time when like it's just they wouldn't allow it, right? But like he fought for it, and what's it called? My dinner? Nope. What's it called? Nope.
Oh, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Yeah. Like I saw the movie as a kid, so I'm not gonna say I know it now or anything, but like, just like realizing like, man, this dude was doing important shit, like whilst trying to be a true artist at the same time. Like that's like really special, man.
It definitely only in the relative recent amongst like pop like mainstream conversation will come up, or if you're doing like those critical studies in college or that kind of thing, or you get involved in film studies, and then they'll start really widespread having the conversations about how big of a deal it was that Poitier did what he did, which is that he went into these films and he played these smart, educated businessmen. The Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was a big deal because like he got so much flack from the Black community for doing that because he was playing by their rules. And like they were saying, that's not the way. That's you getting in a suit for them. Like that's not the way to do this. But he was pushing the needle forward. And like that's so hard. It was such a tough time because like that's where that kind of representation is seen as bootlicking on the other end, while like on the other end it's like you're not even welcome in this space. So like you just have the naysayers on both sides. But he was also a trailblazer, so that's a tough one. Yeah. But like again, like long life, long legacy, a lot to be proud of.
And what's ridiculous, real quick, but I just want to say one thing. It's ridiculous that he was the only black man to win an Oscar before Denzel Washington. Took that long in the early 2000s. Wow.
Denzel even like he thanks him in a speech of like you're the guy who made this possible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and it took like another 50 years or whatever. So
yeah. Ben, you were gonna say something?
Mag is in the chat. Speaking of Sidney Poitier, he said Defiant Ones in the Heat of the Night for Sidney Poitier films, which we talked about. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I've never seen it, unfortunately, and I didn't really know who Sidney Poitier was until people started talking about him.
Ben, can you guess who came to dinner?
I guess Sidney Poitier did.
Did you ever see Guess Who? Flip it.
Who guess?
The Ashton Kutcher remake. How my god.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Remember with Bernie Mac?
That's supposed to be Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Yes, it's just flipped.
Oh no, I was like 11 and I love that movie.
Yeah. Guess who makes the stance? Racism is the other way now. And I'm like, that's no.
My life is lesser for knowing this.
Sorry. COVID was a breeze compared to this.
Yeah, no, I got that.
I didn't know that, but okay. I mean, I never seen Guess Who, so because when you said Guess Who, I thought about the board game, but
no. There's an Ashton Kutcher movie called Guess Who.
Oh yeah.
That is a remake of a Sidney Poitier movie.
Wow.
Where Ashton Kutcher plays the Sidney Poitier role.
You know what it is? It was 10 Things I Hate About You. Was like let's do something old and modernize it. But they were like, let's do that but be racist.
Yes.
No.
Oh my God.
But yeah, legends, all of them passing away. Some had long, like Madden, Betty White, and Sidney Poitier, amazing lives, amazing accomplishments throughout their lives, and then some were taken too early. Which it's been a sad few weeks in that field.
Way to put a button on all of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on to some news from the last couple of weeks. So the first 2 weeks we were off are just one thing, and I've trimmed it down quite a bit, so we're only talking about really what I think is just going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
Sony's Spider-Man universe, or whatever the hell they're calling it, had quite a few rumors that suggest to me that Sony is up to their post-Amazing Spider-Man 2 ways. And why wouldn't they be? They just made $1 billion.
See, what happened is they made $1 billion, and then they saw Warner Brothers dartboard, and they're like, "Can we borrow the dartboard?"
Yes. Just put like different characters on top of the Warner Brothers darts.
All
right.
This character.
Well, apparently Jamie Foxx is being talked about for a spinoff, a solo spinoff. So he'll be the next whatever. Do we want that?
No.
I don't like. I am not like anti spinoff. It just has to be right. But like, I think they're just like, oh, people like Jamie Foxx. Like, yeah, but like, I don't need an Electro movie.
Yeah.
Like, Electro is the same as like a Morbius. Like, he doesn't need his own movie. That's not a thing he needs. Like, like other characters, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's wild, and it just says to me that like Sony is like, we have the whole world open to us now.
Instead of like taking a step back and thinking for a few months, they're doing the dartboard. We got to get shit now while people still have Spider-Man on the brain. Like, we always have Spider-Man on the brain.
Black and Silver back on the board.
Spider-Man.
What if because it follows like No Way Home, and he goes back and he's fixed, but like he wants a taste of like doing something good, and so he like starts creating sides, like he becomes Electro the Vigilante.
That's not. I don't know if I want to see that either.
Or if he becomes a different Spider-Man villain,
like Electro.
The Shocker.
The Shocker.
Listen, every character can have depth and merit. Electro normally isn't the guy. He's just not. Sorry, Max Dillon. Sorry about your eels.
Sorry, there was a rude comment in our comment section. Thank you.
Get out of here.
Thank you for trying your best to get rid of that quickly. All right. Andrew Garfield is being talked about to come back. And I don't actually think any talks are happening with him. I just think that there's a lot of talks about how they could bring him back, because some conflicting reports happened of like he'd be in Venom 3, which would be a multiverse movie. They're looking to bring back Gwen Stacy to do a Spider-Gwen thing. So I think what's happening right now with Sony is they are just literally going back to like Sinister Six, Silver and Black, where we got we can do all these spin-offs now.
Can I also say, like, I don't think a good chunk of these are even coming from Sony. I think this is probably not. I think this is just the horse shit of like people are in a fervor and it's Sony, so they'll believe it. Write write it.
Yeah.
I just think it's still too early because they are still reeling at how much money they just made. So like I don't think they have a plan at all. Like
I think
they know what the next Venom movie. They know they did. Morbius is coming out soon. Besides the delays, but like Venom 3 is going to happen. Besides that, they're throwing dartboard stuff now.
I think the best idea they had, or like that they had, the best idea that I think has been tossed around is to make Venom set in the Amazing Spider-Man universe.
There's no reason they can't.
Right, and I think you can definitely just do things from there. Even set Morbius in there because like at least the murderer Spider-Man thing can make sense if you want to run with like Andrew Garfield. Stop pulling his punches at Spider-Man. Maybe he murdered a villain. Like you can just play in that space, and then you got your own Spider-Man, and we don't need to worry about Tom Holland Spider-Man. You can do your own things, and everybody loves that Spider-Man. So there you go. And
yeah,
just go off.
Yeah, I think
it was almost a mistake.
Right.
It was almost a mistake. Like obviously, like I love Spider-Man No Way Home, but it was almost a mistake bringing those characters back because now like they're forced to do some more stuff with them. Maybe you don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like that's the reality is you're not forced to. Like it's a choice. But like someone summed it up really well. I don't remember who it was I was listening to because I listened to too many podcasts. But someone was talking about like watching No Way Home, and as exciting and as much as you love it, you kind of feel like the water rising to like drown you of how studios will take this and how they'll react to the success of it and the fan serviceness of it. And you're like, this is a great thing, but they're going to take the wrong message and you can feel it kind of coming over you.
I'm almost concerned that Marvel Studios is taking the wrong lesson from it, which is not something I've ever been concerned about.
Listen, I don't know how the movie itself's going to be, but I can already tell you that Multiverse of Madness is going to be the fan service I think we're going to be afraid of with like even before all the reshoots. Like that movie already has a bunch of shit that's like, you remember this thing? And I'm like, I guess I do. Yeah, I was there.
I'm still hopeful for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm worried.
I just don't think the Phase 4, like the multiverse is Phase 4 maybe is the direction I would go, but also like, hey, they just made $1 billion, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I would like to see Andrew Garfield come back in some capacity, whether you do multiverse with whatever with Venom or something. I'm glad that he wants to come back, and he was and he thought No Way Home was a healing experience. It is strange that Amy Pascal is so quick to be like, yeah, we didn't fire you. What are you talking about? We always wanted you back.
It's water under the $1 billion bridge.
Yeah. All right. That's also, I would like to see, like, honestly, I don't agree with the idea of like hooking them up as a couple, but like, I would like to see a story where Andrew Garfield sees Spider-Gwen, and like have that be healing for him as well with like dealing with Gwen. Be interesting to see. I'd like that.
Yeah,
I think if it's still Emma Stone, just because of the nature of like how they handled this character. I'm not saying it's an impossible feat, but it is a tough challenge to make him not feel romantically towards her. Mm-hmm. Unless you're going to bring in a different person, just like how he's used to seeing different Peter Parkers, a different person, but is Gwen Stacy, is Spider-Gwen. I have nothing wrong with that. I think if it's Emma Stone in particular, I think that's very fresh and hard, I think, for you to have that character have to overcome.
Yeah, I got you. Norman Reedus is Ghost Rider. He won't say it. It's not confirmed, but he's saying a lot of shit.
I just want Ghost Rider in my face to be alive. So like, there are definitely worse people. Like, especially if they're doing I was gonna say Danny Rand. That's not even his name. It's also not Danny Ketcher. If they're doing Johnny Blaze, who is like the first modern Ghost Rider. He's kind of the more like boring, like I'm angry kind of guy. So like Norman Reedus is perfectly fine for that. It's cool that like they're getting like a motorcycle guy to be the motorcycle character. Like that does a lot for me because he knows what he's doing on a bike. I'm just so excited for like the next couple of years. Like if this is true, like we're getting a big Ghost Rider event in the comics. Ghost Riders come to the MCU. Like the Midnight Suns are slowly forming, and I'm like, oh, it's a good time, baby. Hell yeah.
I was about to say you got to get the Midnight Suns with Blade.
I think Norman Reedus is a great Johnny Blaze, not a great Danny Ketch. I agree with Ryan completely. Like you get somebody else down the road to be a good Danny Ketch. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ghost Rider, I actually caved and got the Ghost Rider skin on Fortnite the other day.
It's a good skin. It's a good skin.
And I got all the cool stuff with the motorcycle and everything.
Yeah, Norman Reedus, just to explain to the audience what I was referring to, he's been liking a bunch of Ghost Rider stuff, and then he posted he links to an image of him as Ghost Rider. The Boss
Twitter
did.
Twitter made him like trend for a day.
Yeah.
I can't tell yet if it's that he is or he's campaigning in like the Tyrese Gibson kind of way.
Possibly.
It could be he's pulling a D'Onofrio, where he's like, I filmed my shit 6 months ago. Right, you don't even know.
Right. Right. It absolutely could be. Like I can't tell right now which one it is, so I'm not really ascribed to anything. I don't think Johnny, I kind of agree with Ryan. Like, I don't think Johnny Blaze is inherently a very interesting character most of the time. He's more interesting by proxy of like who else is around him. So Norman Reedus is a perfectly good actor to play that role.
Yeah.
And I agree that like if you're gonna have Ghost Rider, have somebody who's like familiar with bikes, so you can do a lot of good like motorcycle stuff.
Yeah, I want Nicolas Cage as Mephisto.
No, I still need Al Pacino.
I
still want that.
Supposedly, the Flash has Zod and Feora returning.
My favorite characters from the DCEU.
Yeah.
Why? Like, man,
what's happening with that movie?
Man, like, so here's the thing. It's definitely not going to be this case. But I just remember when we first started talking about Spider-Man No Way Home with all the shit that's in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if anything could turn into like that, but I don't care about Zod or Feora, so like,
Michael Shannon said yes.
I'm just letting the movie happen to me when the movie happens to me. If the movie happens.
It's just it's so weird that the Flash multiverse movie is just like a Batman movie. And like a Man of Steel, like what's I don't know.
Some people have pointed to like the title of Flash's book in No Way Home as a kind of FU to the Flash movie because he calls it Flashpoint. And I'm like, I don't know if that really is an on purpose thing, but that's pretty funny.
I'm just saying, like, they know what they're doing.
Some quick comic book news. Wolverine is getting a new miniseries called Wolverine Patch. Larry Hama is going to return with Andrea DeVito. Sorry. This is going to be set before Larry Hama's original run on Wolverine.
Larry Hama is absolutely one of the quintessential Wolverine writers. He also was big on like G.I. Joe and Transformers and stuff in the 80s. Like that dude rules. And like, you know, as it is in current day, get some of those old writers to come back and do new stuff. So I'll probably read this on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah. Jason Aaron is taking over Punisher. Punisher with Jesus Saiz and Paul Azaceta. And he's going to Punisher is now the leader of the Hand.
So this was an interesting on Twitter when this was announced because I've read, and this isn't like a bragging thing, it's just he doesn't have that many runs. Like I've read every single modern Punisher run, and nobody talks about the Punisher on Twitter. So everybody was up in a heavey. They're like, "You're getting rid of the Punisher logo. What is this? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, you guys all of a sudden care about the Punisher. That's really funny." This is a cool ass story arc that I really like, where the Punisher is going to take crime into his own hands. He's taking over the Hand, a criminal organization, and he's going to make them basically like a vigilante service for New York. I think that's an awesome idea, and the implications for New York and like Daredevil and Spider-Man are going to like totally interact with that. And I think this is a really cool chapter, doing something completely fresh with a character nobody reads. None of you guys read Punisher, like honestly. And like this is a cool way to get people in if they weren't already into just a dude who kills fools, because that's kind of what he is.
Right.
Yeah. The fake Twitter outrage.
Also a great excuse to change the logo for Punisher because they've been looking to do that for a while because of the misuse by police force in America, and that's a lot of where that upset is also coming from. And I'm glad they found a nice organic way to be like, we're changing it because stop it.
And it's still like it's like a cool like demon Yakuza skull thing. So it's like it's still a skull. Like get over yourselves, guys. Do you really? Again, that's the thing, Brandon. Do they really care that much? I know they don't. I know they don't.
Nobody cares that much.
No, maybe me.
Brian Michael Bendis is leaving Justice League at the end of 74.
Can't say I'm surprised.
I haven't heard anything about this.
I was about to, okay, so the second Brandon said Brian's name, I was like, he's still writing comics at DC? I totally forgot.
I've just assumed that Justice League hasn't been published for the past 2 years.
Yeah, he's going to end it with he's taking over Justice League Dark for 2 issues from MV. So screw you. But he's going to do a Justice League Dark, Justice League crossover, and then he'll be done. He's got other things in the pipeline. He mentioned this whole thing about what he's working on at DC, and sure. Yeah, Naomi season 2 coming.
Hey, I have no problems with him like doing like his own stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, we were all so excited for Bendis, and then we were all reading Superman, and then slowly we all weren't reading Superman.
Yeah.
Now nobody's reading Justice League.
I just assumed Bendis was going to be on his way out of DC pretty quickly because of moving Jinx World.
That was the big thing for me. I'm like, oh, they're not working together anymore. I guess. Yeah.
Moving Jinx World was the surprising one, but he's still working on Legion, which we'll get to later on this year.
And I do have some Twitter people who do read the book, but I've never hear anyone like raving about it.
No.
So like, you'd think like a Bendis of Justice League would be like a top tier book, but like, I guess not.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, John Wick Chapter 4 has been pushed from May 27th, 2022 to March 24th, 2023.
Damn, so 4 months away to 16 months away.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey man, do what you gotta do. Make that movie.
I don't know if they started filming yet, which was surprising to me when I saw this one. I was like, oh right, that was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out last year with The Matrix.
They definitely have filmed
Maybe
it.
Maybe they just forgot to tell people they delayed it.
Maybe.
Yeah. He definitely filmed that like back to back, like with The Matrix.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure they're just need more time, pandemic.
That's why it looks like John Wick in The Matrix. Michael Keaton is going to come back again as Batman for Batgirl, which was confirmed by both stars.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So people are speculating. Fuck me like a Southern boy. People are speculating that this is like he's not Dark Knight Returns Batman, but this is like in the future, and he is like old Batman, and this would be like like essentially Batman Beyond, like him taking on like a younger Robin, basically. But it's with Batgirl, so like doing a whole different thing.
Not against that.
No, I'm not against it either. Like having like an older mentor thing. Like I love that idea.
Yeah.
I guess they haven't really done that a lot with like at least recently, because Batgirl's been her own figure for so long.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not against it really. I like Michael Keaton.
It's just I didn't think we'd see Michael Keaton as Batman again. After the Flash.
Again?
Yes.
Again.
The rumor, again, always rumors, like that he is going to be like for the next like couple movies, like he is the Batman figure.
Yeah.
For everybody in the multiverse or whatever. So I'm like, I guess he's going to be Batman for a couple years.
Get paid, but like, okay.
If it makes sense for a story, sure. I'm just unsold on the Flash in its entirety, which stems from Batman stuff too. So,
because we know that J.K. Simmons is coming back as Gordon.
Yes, that's what's weird.
I think without the Flash of it all, if I'm just like looking at this Batgirl movie and having him in it, I'm like, well, that's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'm all for it.
Yeah, we just don't know.
I have nothing further than that. Like the Flash movie is just, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
If that Batgirl movie is good and he's the Batman for it, then great.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bendis and DC, Legion of Superheroes is getting an adult animated TV series for HBO Max that Bendis is working on.
Why adult?
Yeah, why adult?
Is Aquaman considered adult?
The Aquaman show we watched?
Yeah.
The animated one?
It's not. Okay, so like...
But when you hear adult, you think in the vein of Lower Decks or Rick and Morty.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. Like, if that's the trend, it just... I guess it is... You do it with somebody like Legion, or like the Challengers of the Unknown. You do this with characters people don't care about, so you can do whatever you want with them. So yeah. This actually does make sense. Even though the Legion are a bunch of like young, like spacefaring teenagers, I guess
hopeful spacefaring teenagers.
If you want to turn that into Rick and Morty, like honestly, they are the property to do it with. I just don't know if I would do it.
I'm assuming this will be more like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. It's just like
that's an adult animated series.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand why you don't go for like I don't understand why Legion of Superheroes has to not go for the Young Justice kind of audience where you can get like the younger viewers on board. Like I don't get why we're not trying to do that anymore with superhero shows in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Young Justice went more mature.
Yeah, because Legion is definitely like all comic books have mature moments, but it is not like a mature property. And of course, like Harley Quinn didn't start that way either. And you can transform things. It's just like it's an interesting. Maybe somebody had a really good pitch, and they're like, "Yo, I want to take these 30 like weirdos from the year 3000."
Well, that's Bendis. Bendis's pitch is always like, "I want to do something weird with these people from the 3000."
Yeah. It'd be interesting because, like, again, Bendis is normally like more teenage levels. So, like him doing more mature stuff could be interesting. Yeah.
All right. Where'd it go? Fast and the Furious? What? Oh yeah, Fast and the Furious. Dwayne Johnson publicly declined Vin Diesel's generous invitation to return to Fast 10.
Generous manipulation.
What the hell? We didn't talk about it when it happened, but I thought the reply warranted some discussion.
I didn't hear anything about this. What went down?
Did you not hear about this?
So
Vin Diesel posted on Instagram with a picture of him as Dom,
Toretto.
And The Rock as Hobbs, and there, it's the bit in 5 when he's like, "This is Brazil," as that. So it's like he did this thing where it's like, Dwayne, Destiny calls. You need to come back to do Fast 10 because I promised Pablo that we were going to do the best thing ever. And like kids love you and they miss you and you got to come back for Fast 10 and return to Destiny and Hobbs and no one can play him like you and blah, blah, blah. And so that was like this whole like paragraph on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it left until Johnson, like 2 weeks ago, I think, said like, "Oh yeah, I said no. I'm not doing that. I'm done with Hobbs. Yeah. I'm done with the Fast and Furious franchise. It was fun. I had a good time. I'm done." He was very political about really what he should have said is F you.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, y'all. The Rock is a professional wrestler. And I've seen this man lie before. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, this can all be true. This can all be true. I believe that The Rock's the type of person who will put fans first in a dumb way, where he will work out a cameo or something in that final movie. Even if he doesn't have to be on screen with Vin, he will show up. I think he will show up in that final movie out of respect to the fans of the franchise.
Yeah.
I think that's possible and not off the table, but I do think that there was a world where even in Dwayne's mind, potentially, that was more possible before this.
Yes.
I think that this last message, like, this was pretty damning because this felt like him even saying he wasn't coming back for Hobbs and Shaw anymore, which wasn't something that had been said before. So I think that this was him being like really, really something. I think something even bigger than Vin necessarily by himself that he's just not happy with in that working environment over there. So I don't know. Yes, that might still happen. That might work. Like the next Fast film might get built up and there might be a fan outcry of wanting him still to appear. And that might be enough to make him do exactly what you're saying, Ryan. But like, I think this is genuine. I think this is him being like, I don't like the way he did this. The fact that he calls it manipulation specifically, and I know what he's referring to. It's the part where like Vin Diesel says, your Uncle Dwayne in my house to my kids and that kind of thing. Like, and
I promised Pablo.
I think Dwayne Johnson specifically saying like, I didn't like the way he used Paul Walker's death, trying to manipulate me. I don't think that's like, fronting. I think that's real. I think that's him being like, I don't like the way he's trying to do this.
Yeah.
Trying to make me the bad person in this situation. Like he understands I don't.
It's like guilt tripping.
I'm not doing it. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Mag in the chat asking, is it filmed around Black Adam 2?
Well, Black Adam's done.
Black Adam's done, and they're not even all the way in production on the next Fast films yet.
I have to imagine, like whatever, like Fast 10, your seatbelts will be rockless, and then Fast 11, the end of the saga, he'll show up in the end as like a cameo, green screened in because he hates Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
very very well could be. Like I said, I think that was definitely a thought in his mind because I think also a Hobbs and Shaw sequel was a thought in his mind. But like I said, this last thing really felt like he was saying, I don't want anything to do with that whole franchise anymore.
Yeah. That's fair.
And if that's the case, then like I don't know if you come back from that.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
We're at this week now. So this is a lot of the stuff that happened this week. For example, the Golden Globes announced that they're going to be a private event and will not live stream or air on TV, and will just announce the winners in a press release in the next day.
Oh, so like the regular Golden Globes where I just read it afterwards.
Right, but like it was kind of a big deal because they've been under a lot of pressure in recent years, and this one felt like not like a defeat of like, okay, we'll make some change, but okay, we're hiding.
Yeah.
Now we're hiding. You're just not going to watch us anymore. And everyone's like, great, I wasn't watching you anyway. But what the hell is this? What the hell is this now?
The Emmys are like the wet fart. No, the Golden Globes.
Yeah,
the Golden Globes are the wet farts of awards. So like that's fine. That's the one where everyone just goes like get drunk, and hangs out with like Angelina Jolie and gives her an award for no reason. So like that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I wish that I just wish they went with the let's make some change and not let's just hide.
That's you always want for the best, and they always give you the worst. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Warner Media and Viacom CBS, the co-owners of the CW, which I stupidly just found out was UPN and the WB prior to 2006.
You just found that out?
I just found that out. I didn't know that UPN was a part of it.
I
grew up watching
WB
UPN,
became the UPN, and then
right, because Viacom, Warner Media and Viacom own it. Well, they apparently want to sell it because it hasn't been profitable since the year it was created in 2006.
I understand, like, I'm struggling, but them being not profitable for 15 years, holy shit, stop making so many superhero shows.
Yeah, what the hell? What happened?
Are you kidding me? They kept doubling down. The next one will be a hit. The next one will be a hit. And then 15 years later, we have to sell. That's crazy.
You have to wonder, like, what this means, because, like, does it just mean that, like, the show itself is just never making... Because, like, even by, like, old television rules of syndication, like, the CW definitely had things that went to syndication. I mean, Supernatural did it twice. 3 times. Supernatural did it 3 times. So, like, when you've got something like that, you were definitely making a profit off the shows. So you have to wonder, like, where in, like, the network specific as a branch of the company is it not making the profits? Because it's not necessarily what they're putting out. It's something about how they're handling the network itself.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's unbelievable because, like, when the CW was like, when the superhero shows were in their height, you know, like Arrow and then the Flash just started, and you're like, that they weren't making money still when those shows were so good. Like,
that's not possible. Like, because you've got Supernatural, which again, like, even before the streaming services, Supernatural is a licensed out show onto other networks, like the KTLA, Fox, or whatever.
Vampire Diaries is huge everywhere.
It'll show up in its reruns because it's got syndication. Same with Vampire Diaries. Yeah. Shows like that will show up on their syndication reruns, and that's still turning out the profit machine. That's the whole thing. Is you make it to 100, you hit syndication, and then you just keep making money off those episodes. So they've hit that with those. So it's very confusing. Smallville, same situation for a while. Like I don't get
wonder
that. So
if they're just
something else.
Like, they're so like mismanaging of budgets across like all the shows. It's like over time it eats it up, and no matter how many Supernaturals you have, you can't make it up.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of what it comes down to. Is not that it wasn't making any money, it wasn't making enough to be profitable, which means you pretty much have to double what you put out to make a profit, and they were just not doing that ever.
It feels like Netflix, whereas Netflix is its own giant conglomeration. Like the CW is its little thing that's trying to like, we're putting out all these shows for teens, but like for 15 years, it's like no one's buying them, I guess. Yeah. And I'm like, I know those shows are popular, so I'm just like, there's some businessman,
or they just sold them all to Netflix for not enough money.
Yeah, they kind of got screwed over. Yeah. That's just crazy. Like for 15 years. Like,
I mean, how many people have watched all of Supernatural on Netflix? How many times?
Oh my god. Yeah,
I have all 5 seasons of it. So apparently nothing. The claim is that nothing will change on Viacom and Warner Brothers' part. They just won't pay for it anymore, but they'll still be content generators, what they call it, for the network. Good for them.
Man, this is one of those situations where like this could be really, really good for the quality level of the CW, because like obviously I don't watch as many shows or actually any shows anymore, but like even outside of the superhero stuff, like the CW's quality level is like around there, you know, the kung fu shows and like the vampire dramas and like the legal shows, and I'm like, maybe it's just like the thing's rotten from the core. Maybe like, and it's just like, oh, now it's time to cut the cancer. We got to malignant this shit, man. Like, cut the cancer. We got to malignant this.
Well, or it's just like you got another Riverdale situation, or I feel like outside of the superhero shows with a bunch of CW shows, you get like a bunch of like young adult teen angst dramas, and it's just like, oh, cool, another teen drama that's on the CW.
Well,
where else is it gonna go? Because then you got like NBC with all the Chicago shows, and
Well, I think that the thing that's really doing it is that was like the CW's market, right? It had that by the balls. As the streaming services have expanded, they need more content for their streamers, and a lot of those have been pretty much aping CW style stuff.
Sure.
And filling out that catalog with things that are comparable level to it.
Netflix has a ton of the. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And so like now they have so much competition in that, and those are all things that people can watch without commercials. Like the CW offers an app for free where you can watch all its shows, but you still have to sit through ads. There's no way around that. So if you're a person who's cut the cord and you have streamers, your only option for the CW shows when they're fresh is to watch them on that app.
Yeah. All right.
Or piracy.
You wouldn't steal a car.
you wouldn't download a car.
You wouldn't download a car?
That's what they said.
No, that's
what
the
it
joke.
was.
Yeah.
No,
You wouldn't download a car. And
That's not what they said. That was a joke, Ben.
No, they actually did a thing. It's like you wouldn't download a car, and then some
It's a
mad
meme.
lad with a 3D printer actually downloaded and made a functioning vehicle.
You wouldn't
Today on Ben Takes
stream
Memes Too Literally.
You wouldn't illegally stream the 12th episode of Batwoman season 3, would you?
Damn. Calling yourself.
Yes. Okay. Remember when Soul went to streaming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember when Luca went to streaming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Turning Red is the latest Pixar film to go straight to Disney Plus at no extra charge, and will drop on March 11th. We'll skip theaters
That's
entirely.
the part I have the problem with. It's the extra charge part that I have a problem.
Me too.
Like go to Disney Plus and don't go to theaters. Like, okay, I guess. Why do the Pixar movies keep not making money?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see nice, pretty movies on a big screen.
And
like,
I've seen people talking about this on Twitter where they're like, well, this is really a good thing because they're doing this as a reaction to COVID, and like that's great. And I'm like, I agree with you. Like people should have the option to not go to theaters right now because it is getting worse. I agree, 100%. But why is Pixar always the sacrificial lamb that has to not make any money on the streamer when everything else plays at both and gets that additional charge? Like, what is that? Why is
Ryan
that
the
happening?
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yeah.
We know that the Pixar staff is not happy with this.
Mm-hmm.
Encanto is just Disney, right?
Yeah.
Was that in theaters and now it's on Disney Plus for free?
It had a 45-day theatrical window, and then went to Disney Plus. But Raya and the Last Dragon had a hybrid release of $30.
It wasn't 45 days. It was shorter.
It had to be
shorter
than.
No, it was because Encanto came out on Thanksgiving, and then it came out on Disney Plus on Christmas Eve.
That's so crazy.
Actually, I watched it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
and it's fine.
Okay. Ouch.
It wasn't. It didn't really hit me as hard as other.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to.
Mini review.
I don't want to talk to you.
And man, it's a bummer because these animated movies are not cheap. That's the bummer. Like they're really expensive.
And Pixar is constantly winning the same Oscar every time they're nominated.
Like they keep upping their game and Daddy, am I not good enough for you? Like what?
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah.
I agree.
I will be so mad if this happens to Lightyear. I can't even tell.
Oh hell no!
I think they know they got like a blockbuster with that one.
That movie, you need to see that in IMAX.
I don't think that's the thing. Is like Pixar is always blockbuster money. It's never failed.
No, I know what you mean, but like Lightyear is like it's like Toy Story. It's like it feels like almost like Spider-Man. Like it's a little different.
No, I get what I get what you mean by that, but like Pixar is always blockbuster money. So releasing it in theaters is always profitable. So releasing it on the streamer for a additional charge, even if that additional charge isn't 30 but instead 15, is always going to be profitable.
And
because people love Pixar movies. So why are the Pixar movies not getting charged?
I don't get it.
I would rather pay those creators for Luca than the 30 I paid for Mulan.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Or like
Definitely.
did Black Widow was just theaters, right? That's right.
No, it had a hybrid.
No, Black Widow was both.
Okay, so yeah, I'll like the wrong movie to do that one with, right? Okay, so anyway, so Black Widow made a lot of money with on Disney Plus, but it also got pirated a lot. When you're giving the movie away for free, you're just getting pirated. So now this movie's not going to make as much money. So they're shooting themselves in the foot. Like, why are they shooting Pixar in the face? I don't get it.
The problem now has become, you've done this 3 times.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep doing it? And is heaven forbid Pixar just become a Disney Plus content maker?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? There's a point where we have to be like, yes, this Pixar film is going to come to theaters.
I think this is so confounding because, like, I've looked at people who are in the industry talk about this. I've looked at the staffing talk about it, and analysts talk about it, and fans talk about it, and from every angle, nobody gets why it's happening. That's the part that really gets me, is like, nobody understands this decision. There doesn't seem to be any clear answer. So
it's
just really weird.
It's the only company that they haven't given a premium charge to. Disney live action, Marvel Studios, and Disney Animation all have gone to Disney Plus for a same day release, but with a $30 upcharge. Pixar is the only one of their subsidiaries that has gone to Disney Plus that has not done that.
And let's be honest, this kind of happened to Onward too, because Onward was only out for about 2 or 3 weeks before we all went into shutdown, and so they moved Onward to Disney Plus about a week or two after that.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the one I will forgive is Soul, because that was in like the height of pandemic, and they're like, you know what, let's just give the people what they want, because obviously we can't keep delaying Soul. We're gonna put it on Disney Plus, no extra charge. Merry Christmas. That is the only one. I was like, okay, thank you, I'll take it. But then when they put Luca in Disney Plus only and not in theaters, I was kind of miffed.
And Luca is bookended by 2 theatrical same day releases.
Exactly, yeah. So then, of course, now that Turning Red, I want, after seeing those trailers, I'm like, I can't wait to see this movie in theaters. This is gonna be funny. I want to be in a full theater, laughing with a bunch of people, crying with a bunch of people like I did mask on, or crying with a bunch of people like I did in Coco. And now that I'm not going to get that with Turning Red, and if they do the same thing with Lightyear, I'm going to be pissed.
I just can't. This is obviously an incredibly dumb move, but something about Lightyear is like, if they do that, then they're just like truly stupid.
But this move gives me doubt that they would do this to Lightyear. Like, if this didn't happen, I'd be like, oh yeah, Lightyear's going to theaters, of course. But now this has happened. I'm like, wait, what is stopping Lightyear?
When does Lightyear come out?
July.
November?
I want to say July.
I can just look it up real quick. Let's see.
I think it's a summer release. I could be wrong. It could be November.
June. So I think that's far enough away.
Not even that far away.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Only a month.
Yeah, I think that one might stay, because like I think Omicron will eventually flatten out, and that's like 4 or 5 months away, right? So.
Yeah, I hope so. I can't be sure.
Not if the rumors about Deltacron are true.
Oh Lord, no! Because I'm with Brandon. I want to see Lightyear in IMAX, because I saw the trailer. I saw the trailer for Lightyear before my Matrix showing. Mm-hmm. Lordy, did that look gorgeous!
Lightyear.
Deltacron's my favorite Decepticon.
Lightyear is is one of my most anticipated of this year.
Deltacron sounds like sounds like a 3rd tier Decepticon. Anyways,
I have to ask: can you guys hear my door rattling?
No.
Good, because my cat is desperately trying to get into my office.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's Oreo, right?
Yeah, a wife I can't reach.
We got a lot more we still need to talk about today, so I don't want to spend too much more time on this. But this is definitely like I think it's so frustrating because I don't understand it and nobody else seems to either.
Yes.
And that's the part that really gets to me, is like, people in business don't get this move, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
I can only imagine the people at the USC and UCLA business schools going, "Why?"
I can only imagine.
Okay. Well, so this month we had 2 movies coming out: Scream and Morbius. Now we only have 1. Morbius was moved a couple of weeks prior to its release.
Right.
This is Morbius's 3rd delay.
So January 28th to April 1st. So screw April Fool's Day. This is the 7th time it has been delayed since July 10th, 2020.
Yep. Over 2 years now. So you know it's a winner. Who was it? I think it might have been Dane DeHaan who's on Twitter or something was like, yes, this smells like a rich move. This movie must be full of quality to keep.
Oh, it's Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan
O'Brien.
I love you, Dylan O'Brien, my guy. He's like, yeah, this movie clearly sucks, and I'm like, oh man, what a bummer. I just want to see it just so I can get it over with. Because I want to know like what universe it's in. That's all. Where are you? Who are you?
I'm so they moved it for no other reason, but a lot of people are speculating they're filming some shit.
They are filming some shit. I guess they're like, oh, let's just move it because who cares?
But yeah, we weren't excited for it. I'm actually kind of glad it moved.
I mean, I was gonna see it.
Yeah, but
I was gonna see it.
We like Ed Brubaker.
I got a whole bookshelf of that guy.
Well, Batman Caped Crusader, the HBO Max TV series that Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves are doing, Ed Brubaker will serve as head writer for the first 10 episodes, for the first season, which is 10 episodes.
That's
head writer. My man getting paid. Okay, this rules. Not just because he's a great storyteller, writer. He did Gotham Central, which is like one of the best Batman stories that doesn't have Batman. So like, it's just nice when people who are good get good work. I'm just so happy.
Me too.
So happy.
We're
getting more Batman animated show. That's great.
Yeah, I just wish we were getting a later in life Batman animated show.
Yeah, one day.
But it's got a good team, so I have no reason to think it's not going to be good. All right. I was excited when it was like Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves. Cool, you got me. Ed Brubaker. All right.
The old and the new.
You already had me, but now you have me more.
I'm really excited for that news. I also laughed a little bit when Ryan was like, I got a whole bookshelf for that guy because he's just like ahead in space. Like the implication of this galaxy god that's like, I got a bookshelf of him right
It's
here.
A space library.
Sparks.
Yo.
I heretofore tell, that's wrong. I hear tell you like the Scott Pilgrim books.
Oh, yeah. I mean, big time.
Well, an anime series in the works at Netflix. Brian Lee O'Malley and Ben David, that's one word, by the way, Ben David Grabinski, he recently did Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark? They're going to write and produce the series together.
Yeah, I'm real happy about this because maybe this time Ramona can be a fully fleshed out character.
What?
I really like that Edgar Wright movie, but come on now.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot to mention one thing up top. Actually, it goes better here. Image Comics. The Image Comics employees have voted to unionize.
Ooh.
Yeah, get it. Get it.
Good for them. They deserve it.
Image first.
Unions are almost always good.
The entire industry next.
That makes them the first comic book publisher to be unionized.
Nice.
Speaking of Image Comics, Jeff Lemire has signed an exclusive contract with Image Comics.
Ooh.
In a move that I didn't know was possible.
When you got enough money, anything's possible.
Yeah, because like Image is like, oh yeah, just come here and do some creator-owned stuff and you own it. But like, no, you are only publishing through us now. This does not. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it makes sense because like he does do various things for the big two. Like his tenure being that guy is over, so he is full on creator-owned stuff. Like he has a new issue coming out like every week at this point. This dude just churns them out. It's insane. And
they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Black Hammer will continue. It's going to end soon, though. Black Hammer ends. It's going to be the final series. He'll continue that at Dark Horse, and then when that's done, he did say future Black Hammer published stuff will go through Dark Horse, but everything else he publishes is going through Image, and then that does not include his digital stuff. So all of his digital stuff will still be on Substack, which he also has an exclusive contract with.
He has many avenues that he's working.
Yes.
Do you have in this report that he apparently has work finished for like 10 years? He has he has written 10 years worth of material and he's just drawing it all out now. Mm-hmm. So he has he's a decade of his life just done. And he's I'm just gonna be working on this. That's what's coming out. I'm like, what? To be you.
Right.
Oh my god. Incredible.
I'm excited for more Black Hammer, obviously, but I was a little sad to hear in this report that it does sound like it's coming to an end. Outside of maybe some Substack stuff.
I mean, you don't call a title Black Hammer Ends.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah. So like I really like the universe. I picked up every comic through it. So that's a bummer that it's potentially coming to an end. But like Mike Mignola does, he could come back to it whenever he wants.
I was gonna say that's one of those things where like he'll come back every couple of years probably. Hey, here's a new story.
Mignola, not Matola. I combined them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Doctor Strange: Nexus of Nightmare is going to be a one-shot by Ralph Macchio, not that one, and Ibrahim Mostafa.
Yeah, Ibrahim.
It's going to pit Doctor Strange against Nightmare.
Ooh.
So,
I wonder why.
Nightmare's the villain of Doctor Strange 2. Spoiler alert, everybody. That was a rumor from such a long time ago. This one shot is interesting because do you guys know what's currently going on with Doctor Strange in the comics?
He's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore.
He's dead. He died.
Oh, right, he died.
Yes.
That's the same thing.
Same thing. Yes, he died. So this is a one shot back to a previous adventure because he's dead. I just thought that's funny because I'm like, everyone's like, wait, is this a new story? Because I just watched the dude die. It was funny. There's a lot of these one shots. Ralph Macchio did a lot of stuff in the 80s. I've now learned it's not the same Ralph Macchio, as we all know now. I'll probably maybe read this.
I also thought for longer than I feel like I should have that this was the same guy for the Karate Kid.
Oh no, I just assumed because otherwise it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
I feel
the Karate Kid guy writes comics.
I feel bad for comics Ralph Macchio because I'm sure he's tired of that shit.
Me too. X-Men Red. I was wondering if Al Ewing was going to be doing a solo title again, and he is going to continue in the X-Men universe with X-Men Red. This is going to be with art by Stefano Caselli, which I think does Sword with him.
Yeah.
Or did Sword. It's going to focus on Storm, Magneto, and Sunspot, and more that'll kind of cycle through, and then pick up threads that he left in Sword.
This is fantastic. This is so great. Obviously,
set on Mars
is a treasure. It's Araco.
Sorry, Araco.
You human being.
I did finish the Hellfire Gala. I should know that.
It's okay. For those of you who aren't in the know, the X-Men have terraformed the planet Mars, and now millions of interdimensional mutants live on the planet Mars on this terraformed planet. And now it's called Araco. And Storm is the leader of the universe. She's literally like the president of the universe. Comics are great. You should read X-Men. More importantly, you should read Sword. And now we're going to read X-Men Red, which is about Mars.
Yeah, because I think one of the Hellfire Gala was like, I think it was like Sword or something, where it's like Araco will speak for the galaxy in intergalactic things.
Yeah.
Now, so from now on. So do not worry about Earth.
So it's really great because it causes so much like political strife with like the humanity, because all of a sudden this brand new green Mars filled with millions of extra dimensional mutants is now like the leader of like civilization, and everyone's just go. Captain America's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess. What am I going to say to Storm? Like, she's a god. It's really heavy shit. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this. I love Al Ewing. I love Sword. So. Legion of X, I think the final X-Men title coming out in Destiny of X. Cy Spurrier will be continuing from
Way of X.
Way of X, thank you. With Jan Bazaldua.
Yep.
There's going to be a procedural X book, kind of in the vein of X Factor. He mentioned. Mm-hmm. That will deal with. They'll have like Nightcrawler, Legion, Pixie, and Juggernaut, and then other cast members throughout.
This is great because Jan, can you say the last name again? Because I don't remember it.
Basaldua.
Basaldua is the first trans woman to write an X-Men comic or draw an X-Men comic. That's really great. It's really great. I'm really excited for this book. Way of X is really cool. Legion is such a fascinating, fun character.
I really like how I just read some Way of X. I really like how he writes Legion.
He is probably the guy who's written the most Legion out of any writer because he wrote X-Men Legacy and also like Legion for Marvel Now a couple years ago. So this is like it's a winner chicken dinner. Can't wait.
Yeah, Juggernaut.
Yeah, Juggernaut. He's not a mutant, but he's allowed a Krakoa because he's brothers with Professor X. Bing bong.
Yep.
I had to double check, but yeah, we're in trailers.
Trailer Park.
Death on the Nile.
Looks like a Kenneth Branagh movie.
It does.
With enough champagne to drown the Nile.
As she pours the champagne over the edge of the boat.
It's such an interesting path I've had with this movie, from going watching the first trailer and loving the cast and being like, great, I'm so happy that this cast is together in this movie. I'm really excited for this movie. I loved Murder on the Orient Express.
A year happens.
And then a year happens where I'm like, oh, half of these people are not good people.
It's just funny because they're clearly cutting around Armie Hammer a lot. He's definitely like one of the leads. I mean, they're all the leads, but like they're cutting around him a lot. I'm sure it's gonna be a fine movie, you guys. It's just like you got a detective on a boat where you do another murder. Shouldn't you thought of that first?
I mean, I guess I really liked Murder on the Orient Express.
I thought it was fine. A lot of pretty people on it.
And I really like murder mysteries, so like I was really excited for Death on the Nile being like the first time they've ever made a sequel to Murder on the Orient Express with like the same Hercule Poirot, and I like how Kenneth Branagh plays that role. Yeah. Admittedly, I've not seen another version, so I'm just gonna say that. But
I was gonna say, I guess in like film in theater, yes, that's true. I was gonna say not on like television. Is that true?
Right, because there's that whole show, there's that Poirot show that's been going on for decades. So I was really excited for Death on the Nile, and now I'm just kind of like, well, there's two anti-vaxxers, a bad woman and a cannibal on a boat together. Cool.
I'm sure this is good. Like this trailer, just like I can tell, I know what this movie's gonna be. Like it doesn't look like it's gonna do anything like. The first one didn't, is what I'm trying to say. I don't see anything new where I'm like, oh, it's that again. And like if you're into that, sure, but like especially with the cast, I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. Pull up Mag's comment, Ben, please.
It is very much still just like
I'm also really excited for Knives Out 2.
Oh, I was gonna say it very much badly wants to be Knives Out 2, and it isn't. It does look like it's a good looking movie. Just like Murder on the Orient Express was a good looking movie.
It's like West Side Story is a good-looking movie,
but I wonder if it'll have anything else going for it, and I just suspect not. Beyond like a story that is good, but like
I think Kenneth Branagh changed his mustache in this one.
I like
think
it bigger.
He changes his mustache every scene
because he's got like a little flip up and then like the whole bush down.
Yeah.
All right.
And then sometimes it'll curl and sometimes it'll straighten.
Depends on the day.
And he was like the mustache mask in the first movie. All right.
I really hope that that's not just good trailer cutting, and that the bit where the guy says he accuses everyone of murder and he's like, I admit it's a problem. I hope that's a real exchange.
Me too. I like that
in the movie, because I think that's a great exchange of Poirot being like, it's true, it's a problem.
I think you all killed somebody.
I call everybody a murderer.
Yeah, that was really funny too. I think it's very muddy now because I'm high.
Hey.
All right. Uncharted. Second trailer for Uncharted.
I want to say the one positive thing I have to say, which is like the part where the ships are being flown by the helicopters, looks neat. I'm like, this is the energy I wish the whole movie was, because like at least it'd be stupid fun. I don't believe in it.
Much like the first trailer, like again, like much like the Nile trailer just watched. I think this looks like a fine movie. It's just that it is Uncharted. And also, this trailer showed me every single thing that happens in the movie. It showed me the end of the movie, not just with the mustache, but with what they do with the ships, which is the end of the movie. Why would you do that?
Okay, really love those games.
Yeah,
I think that it did exactly what I thought it was going to do when the mustache showed up, and it's like, oh, what's that thing on your face? Ha ha ha. Sure, whatever. I am baffled by the fact that Sony so wholeheartedly believes that the reason why none of us liked Mark Wahlberg as Sully was because of the mustache.
That's the only reason, yeah.
And like that, no, you idiots. It's he's poorly cast. The other thing is Tom Holland is just doing an impression of Nathan Drake and isn't like being Nathan Drake, because like I see moments in the trailer where he's got that kind of like he gets hit by the car in the plane where he's got that exacerbated oh crap. That's like that's Nathan Drake energy, but you feel like you're just kind of putting on a fake Nathan Drake energy.
Nathan Drake, yeah, he's very much a guy who's very expressive, and he's like, oh shit, I'm about to get punched in the face, aren't I?
Yeah.
Like he's very much a comedian, that, and like Tom Holland, God bless him, like he is doing that, but like I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
It feels surface level. It feels like I'm acting.
It's exactly that. You could tell he's doing a performance and not like inhabiting the role.
Yeah.
The action like looks fine, like it looks good, but I'm just like, they showed so much of this movie. Like they showed like the plot of the movie. I can't believe it. And like it's like, oh, and like I guarantee you that the mustache is the thing that happens at the end of the movie.
I'm sure.
That's the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes X-Men Origins thing where they show you the suit and it happens at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know about this one.
It looks like it could be a fun, decent generic action film, but they decided to be this like origin story for Nathan Drake while also combining elements of all 4 games.
And they do the thing again where they mention Sam multiple times. Like they're setting up like he's like this big thing. I'm like, he's not introduced for like 10 years, guys.
But
like
Sam also didn't know Sully before.
Yeah, it's
before Sully knew Nathan.
They're definitely
guys.
doing a weird...
they don't care.
I know, that's what's frustrating.
That's the problem when you care sometimes about a thing. You're like, oh man.
All right. Anyway.
Hey, I'm sure you guys all saw that. Like he pitched this as like a young James Bond movie, and they're like, "No, dude."
Yeah.
God no. And I'm like, "Oh, poor Tom."
All right. Big Gold Brick.
I just want Tom Holland to have other wins.
Me too.
Yeah. Remember Chaos Walking?
No.
Yeah.
Remember one
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that the one with like the mind thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Gold Brick.
I thought this looks very weird.
Yes.
This does look
This
very
is the kind
weird.
of movie Tom Holland needs to be in.
Oh yeah. So a guy gets hit by a car, and then he's like a rich guy hits somebody, and then he's like,
Andy
"Hey,
Garcia.
Andy Garcia, I hit you. Can you write my autobiography?" And I'm like, that's already really dumb and weird, but okay. And then they're all eccentric, and drugs are involved, and it's very like
Megan Fox plays the wife.
Hallucinogenic. Yeah, like 30 years younger than her husband.
Second wife.
Looks like a goofy, fun time. Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is putting on a voice.
I think
He's
that's
doing
Lucy Hale is the daughter.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what Oscar Isaac's doing, but I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Very eccentric.
I watched. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like a generic comedy. I'm not going to put this on." Then it got weird. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I think Oscar Isaac is going to be like Andy Garcia's like old rival, and up to that point, the guy is going to be questioning how much of Garcia's storytelling has been real, and then that dude's going to show up with like his like blacked over eye and all this shit, and he's going to be like in the house, and he's going to be like, "Am I imagining this?"
Yeah.
It's all real.
Archive 81.
I'm so glad you put this on here. This looks awesome.
Yeah, I thought this looked really cool.
Yeah, I think this looks interesting. Hard to gauge or say a lot about it, but it does look interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely more like moody and stuff, but it's about a dude who's like, there's a building fire, and we want you to archive all the footage that was inside of the building, and then it turns out there's like some haunted, spooky shit going on in these recordings. So it's like Inception. You're watching something within something.
Well, it's like if the stories within VHS were connected.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. I'm definitely. I think it looks really, really promising.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep my eyes out for this one.
I love that Court of Owls like scene with the mask.
Yeah, very there's like cult shit going on, and like you have to find out stuff from the past to influence the future and like detective stuff. And I'm like, that seems really cool. Like it could seem like it could be really, really messy if done wrong. But I want to believe.
The Witcher Blood Origin. We finally got our first look.
Man, there's so many things. This is like the fourth Witcher thing, and I haven't caught up on the other. Oh my god, too much Witcher to look at.
This is the prequel that tells the story of how the Witchers came to be.
Yeah, I'll watch it, but I gotta watch those other things first.
Michelle Yeoh?
Yeah. Their Netflix is diving 200% into the Witcher universe, and as far as I can tell, Witcher season 2 is a success. And the animated thing is a success. So like they got it. They found something that really works for them. I'll watch this in 3 years when I watch everything else that comes out first.
I'm glad that Henry Cavill has this.
Hell yeah, man. He might be getting Warhammer stuff. He might be doing Mass Effect. That dude, like, he's such a nerd. It's awesome. Good for that guy.
Yeah.
The internet has essentially crowned Henry Cavill king of the nerds.
He's manifesting nerd shit to like become real. So I'm like, I believe it.
I'm glad.
I saw a clip of him in an interview. I want to say it was for Witcher, where he talking to the guy. He looks up, he's like, that chandelier looks like a big thing from Warhammer. And he's like, oh, and the other guy's like, oh yeah, it does. It's like, what do you not know? Him and Jasker play Warhammer together. Like he got him into Warhammer and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's cool. That's adorable.
Yeah, I love the action. I'm excited for this one. It feels very Fellowship of the Ring.
It does definitely, like, obviously Witcher is fantasy, but this is like so much in the past, so it definitely has like a more like ethereal, like whimsy.
Yeah.
Before shit gets really bad and racist.
Peacemaker.
Man, this is like the third 3-minute trailer I've watched, you guys.
Yeah.
They're showing me so much stuff. I like this trailer a lot, though. This works.
Yeah, this was the first time where I was like, oh yeah, this. I'm into this.
I think because like the show is like very mature. I think I needed like a rated R trailer to really sell me on it. Not that I wasn't gonna watch it, but like now that I'm seeing like, oh, it's going full hog rated R, like, yo, mother effer, blah blah blah, shooting faces off, blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, this looks like a James Gunn thing. Yeah.
I've definitely been encouraged by people saying that this is some of the best work of James Gunn's career from early screeners, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they got 7 episodes, the screeners.
Yeah, so I'm stoked. I like it. I like the vibe of the trailer a lot.
Yeah.
The Northman.
Revenge my mother. Kill Fulfnir. Play God of War Ragnarok.
Avenge my father. Save my mother.
Kill Fjolnir.
Kill Fjolnir. I want to watch it so bad.
Yeah. Robert Eggers. You know, when they say from visionary director, I'm oftentimes like, are you? But with Robert Eggers, I say, yes, you are, sir. You've earned it. You got the Vavitch. You got the Lighthouse. Give me more, please. I'm all up in Viking mythology lore, so like this looks so great. If you guys want more of this in long form storytelling, watch The Last Kingdom. It's great. It's on Netflix. It's basically this story just over 5 seasons. It's like has a lot of inspiration with like old like Nordic folklore. There's like one specific story I don't remember the name of, but it's like this is like inspired by stuff. This looks awesome. Bjork looks like a crazy witch lady, man.
It looks like they're doing. I don't know if that's what this is, but like Andy Serkis is in this, right? Right? That's Andy Serkis?
No.
Who plays there's an evil guy, I don't remember. Sorry, the face. There's a look at like how they're potentially doing like the gods. Mm-hmm. Like there's like the actor and it just in fire with like complete darkness behind them. That looks like that he could the main character could be talking to the gods.
Oh yeah,
in that moment, and that's how they visualized that. That looked really cool to me. I just thought that this whole thing looked awesome.
Yeah, like visually, like Robert Eggers knows what he's doing. I hope it's in 4x3. That'd be really funny. True Zack Snyder style, baby. Yeah, man, just like a whole bunch of great actors, like really putting it all in this. For like, I'm glad movies like this get to get made. I'm just so happy.
Who plays the king? Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, but he dies in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. Moonfall.
I wish I'm seeing this movie no matter what. I wish they'd stop releasing trailers.
Yeah, but this is the first trailer that had me fist pumping.
I wish that the thing that's in the moon was more visually interesting to look at.
I agree. I have a feeling there's a phase 2 we don't know about.
That would be great. I'm all for the premise, the concept. Like, cool. I'll have a great time. But the bit of it looking like a big, essentially what you see like nano machines. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think we can do better.
I was
just saying, I really hope that this does well because I want to see big director. I want to see big stupid sci-fi again. Like I miss when directors could just like get $200 million and just make whatever crazy movie they want. And I'm hoping that like maybe we get at least one more after this because this looks like let's give him whatever, and he just goes nuts.
That's very much why I feel the way that I'm expressing because like this looks like so much the thing itself, right? Not the movie overall, but the thing itself that's in the moon looks like so much like you've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing visually interesting about looking at that thing. And that bums me.
It's out.
It's just a particle machine thing. And
it's like a worse looking thing from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was about to say the same thing to you, Ryan.
And I wish that it was something like a big dumb dragon.
See, that's why
something more visually interesting.
Here's why I 100% think that they're not showing all of it because there was a line in the trailer like if it's what you think it is, then I think it's either some like big monster or some big living bioorganism thing that's like that is just what you see on the outside because otherwise if it is just that it is gonna suck. I got a feeling there's like a nugget in the middle of the moon. It's gonna be like a cheese monster, big cheese monster.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really want to see a big stupid sci-fi movie again. So this
feels like if you told me this movie was shot in 2017 and it's been on the shelf, I would believe you.
Yeah, me too.
But like again, like I agree. Like every couple years, I want a big dumb movie, and Roland Emmerich is like the guy.
It's
for
why
it.
I like the second Independence Day, because like I could just have a good time. It's not even that good. It's just fun.
Big dumb monsters. So yeah.
The Batman.
I just. If this movie's bad, we're gonna have problems, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, because like every trailer just keeps getting better, and I'm like,
This was my favorite trailer. This was my favorite trailer they've released.
The Batman just keeps upping the ante and just like more and more. Like the first trailer, okay, cool. The second trailer with the music and him coming out of the car upside down. Oh my god, this one's just like, why is it still going so hard?
I'm so excited for this movie.
All the stuff between Selena and Bruce looks so good.
yeah,
I love hearing his Batman voice. I think he's got a good one.
He does have a good Batman voice.
It's awesome because you never want to do the same thing over again. So it looks like they potentially are doing the Waynes might be dirty storyline, which I always think is super cool. They don't do enough of. They've done it in the Telltale books, then some Elseworlds comic books. But like that's a cool idea. Like, oh, what if everything you believed in was wrong, Batman? And I'm like, you lied to me, Alfred. Oh God, I'm sorry. That's the worst accent I've ever done in my life. Yeah, I just like this looks so effing good. This is like, remember when movies look like movies? That's what this makes. Every time I watch one of these trailers, I'm like, oh yeah, the Northman, but it's a superhero movie.
Andy Serkis is definitely in this one, Brandon.
Yeah.
What?
No, you were saying about Andy Serkis being in the Northman.
Oh yes. I meant Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
Sorry, I got
There
a
you
train
go.
update. I got a plane update for those of you just joining us. A plane fell in my street and a train hit it.
Oh God, is everyone okay?
I don't know.
Don't look anymore until the podcast is over.
Okay, I just thought maybe we could share an update.
Well, I mean, I do. The guy asked me if I was available, so maybe he's gonna call me a bit. So if you see me go away, that's why.
Yeah, I
because
got you,
I'm
Ben.
doing magazine stuff.
You said
fine.
that. You said it, Ben. We got you.
No, I just want to give you a heads up.
But that's it, Ben. We're done with the bread and butter.
Mag has a thing.
Oh yeah.
Ben gets asked, "Are you available?" And he's like, "I'm just recording a podcast, but yeah, I'm available."
Yeah, me too, Mag. Says thought for a moment they could connect to Court of Owls. They could.
Yeah, that'd be a cool little like teasing for the future stuff. Yeah.
All right, let's get into our top 10.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you know how this works. We're just going to talk about our top 10s of 2021. That's comics, movies, TV shows, all the things. That's all of our top 10s. Everyone's done it. You know what we're doing. Who wants to do a start with honorable mentions, I believe?
Yeah.
Honorable mentions.
I'll go with some honorable mentions, and there are no ties on my list this year,
Good.
so none of that, because I know you're all going to give me
Bravo.
crap. You're going to give me crap for that.
How much you want to bet he did something weird anyway?
No, well, okay.
I trust him.
You know, I did do one thing here. So the first thing on my honorable mention.
Ryan.
You let me down, Ben.
So there's a reason why it's an honorable mention. So
We've been doing this for
October
6 years. We know Ben can't help himself.
So in October of October of last year, one of my new favorite bands, Beast in Black, released an album. I did not know they released an album until 2 weeks ago. I listened to this album. It freaking slaps. I wish I could put it on my list, but I can't because I didn't listen to it until 2022. So that's why it's on my honorable mention.
I would have counted it.
That doesn't matter.
I would absolutely count that. It came out in
Ben,
2021.
I didn't watch Matrix Resurrections until this year. It came out last year. It only matters that it came out in 2020.
Yeah. Obviously, also, like, real quick, I am always suspect of people who put out top 10s at the beginning of December. Lots of shit comes out in December, y'all. That's still 2021. You are neglecting December. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I agree.
All right, but still, it's a kick-ass album. Ryan, the first track on that album is a track I think you really appreciate. It's called Blade Runner. Yeah, the whole album is like based off like sci-fi and anime properties. Like there's one song that got hardcore Alita Battle Angel vibes, and I freaking love it. Really good album. Dark Connection. Listen to it. And also, I realized they're touring in April, and I might go see them in Anaheim because I really wanted to see them when they were going to do a tour in 2020. But we all know what happened. So yeah,
we'll see how the year goes.
Besides that, I have my first video game on my honorable mentions list. Bowser's Fury. Yeah, it's Bowser's Fury.
The only other game
The
that came
two
out last year that you played.
So
It's
Bowser's
a-
Fury, Bowser's Fury came with Mario 3D World, and that was Mario 3D World was a remake from a Wii U game, solid Wii U game. But Bowser's Fury is actually something I hope they do with 3D Mario titles down the line. It's a very fun game. It's about maybe a 5+ hour romp, but it's a fun game. It's a fun cooperative game. Had really good elements. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed it. So, did you guys want me to go through my entire honorable mentions, or just like we just go? Okay, cool. Let's see. So Cruella's on honorable mentions. I really enjoyed Cruella.
Yes.
Emma Stone was amazing. Every time a little ad for the little scene with her and the Baroness. Is it the Baroness, right? Yeah, it's the Baroness. Mm-hmm. That comes up as an ad before my YouTube.
It's on your list.
Either way, it's awesome. I loved it. Shang-Chi. I put Shang-Chi on my honorable mentions. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
I had an absolute blast with Shang-Chi, but I mean it was good. But there's something on my top 10 that was even better, and I think you know what it is. And also, lastly, new Pokemon Snap that came out this year, and that revived Pokemon Snap because a lot of fans have been dying for a new Pokemon Snap game, and we finally got it. So, and it came out to rave reviews. Fanny absolutely loves it. I enjoyed it. I haven't touched it in a while because of other things, but it's still a fun game, and it brings so much more to Pokemon Snap than the original ever did. So I'm glad that fans of the series got it. So yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Very cool. Let's go next.
I will do it. Planet-sized X-Men. This was a one-shot that came out during the Hellfire Gala. It's one of my favorite single issues of the year, but not enough to make it on the top 10 because it's only one issue. But this is the terraforming of Mars. Some of the most beautiful art ever, with just Mars getting terraformed by like Iceman and Storm and Magneto, and like making the molten core and doing shit with waves. And I'm like, man, comics are cool, y'all. So I said Planet-sized X-Men, my favorite for one issue of the year. I put this on here, and I don't think anybody else put it. I just put F9 The Fast Saga because I think everyone in the world's forgotten that Fast and Furious came out. I still like it. There's a scene where Dom Toretto like he falls into some water, and then it turns into an art scene for 5 minutes. And I still think about that all the time with just cross dissolves and Dom Toretto spinning around. I'm like, mwah, cinema, baby. Also, cinema, I put Malignant. I like Malignant a whole lot. Not enough to put it in my top 10. Sometimes you just got to cut some cancer, and you got some faces coming out of your face. It's just cool shit. Eyes of Tammy Faye. I love that movie. I thought it was really great. I did watch that a couple days ago, so I don't think it's enough to make it on the top 10. But again, you want strong performances. Jessica Chastain, definitely give her that Oscar. Give her the Oscar. And then finally, on my honorable mentions, I got Iron Man. By Christopher Cantwell and Kofu. I'm a big Iron Man guy, but I don't really get to talk about how much I love Iron Man because the comics generally are fine. And this new run is the best Iron Man run since the Matt Fraction run over a decade ago. It really gets to the heart of who Tony Stark is and all the addictions that he deals with, and him trying to be a good person while balancing out his ego. It's a very classic centered run with doing stuff with Korvac and Hellcat, who are like people who dealt with in the 70s and stuff. It's just an all around terrific book. And we're finally out of the shadow of Robert Downey Jr. So I'm just thankful for that.
I saw a clip from an Iron Man movie before. I was like, oh, I miss him.
I love him. If that rumor of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I would love that.
That's the type of cameos I want. Don't bring in some Fox character. Get me like
that'd be great.
That'd be sick as shit. That's me. Honorable.
Who wants Sparks?
Oh no, you sir.
Oh, you be my guest.
No, I'll go. You big baby. You always need to go last.
I always want to go. I want my friends to go first.
You want to go last, and I will do it. I'm just going to rattle these off because you're pretty much familiar with all of them. This was hard. I had a hard time making this list. So everything I'm about to name in honorable mentions was at some point considered to be in the top 10. And even then, some things you guys mentioned, like F9, Cruella, like they were there. They're not there now. They're not even in the honorable mentions because this was too hard. So here we go. Free Guy, the Snyder Cut, Psycho Gorman.
Psycho Gorman, right. Wait, what was the? Sorry, what was that?
The Green Knight.
The Green Knight.
The Queen's Gambit. Sweet Tooth. Adventure Time. Finn and Jake Together Again. Superman and Lois. Godzilla Singular Point. And Motherland Fort Salem Season 2.
Motherland! I also put Motherland.
all of those things are so good, and I loved all of them, and I had a really hard time not putting them in my top 10.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I got a scrap of paper that I was like scratching stuff in. Like, no, this is.
Yeah, I forgot. I Sweet Tooth almost made it into my top 10 also, but it got bumped from my honorable mentions because of something. Loved Sweet Tooth though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like gush or expand like most of these things we've talked about before, or I've at least talked about before. Like, they were all like really in the running. I had a hard time picking.
Well, he didn't need to go away. We could have just had him on the phone.
He's got to. It's the most important thing in his life right now. He's got to leave.
Also, like, he probably can still hear us because we're not muted. He is.
Have fun with your thing, Ben. Bye.
Anyway, have a good time, Ben.
Sparks. Motherland Fort Salem. Thankfully, it is getting a third and final season, but it is getting canceled. Yeah. But if you guys want a show that is incredibly, man. I don't even know where to start. Like, it's so unique. It's like basically Harry Potter meets like military school, but like not in a bad way. Like it's a super diverse and really fun and creative. And like I've never seen magic dealt in this way before with like vocal cords and like they scream to use their spells. Like it's just super imaginative, good stuff. And again, this is a Disney show, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Motherland Fort Salem did this with my top 10 a lot. And I ultimately, like, I decided that I had to have my top 10 in there. My number 10 that I'm going to bring up, Motherland Fort Salem season 2 was like right there. And I'm like, I really want to put season 2 in here, but I just can't, but I want to.
If some of the character stuff panned out better, I bet it would have probably been in our top 10s. But I remember there's some character stuff that I think it's Rael that like, oh, what's going on here? And like the mom stuff. Yeah.
Stuff with the mom that's just like water under the bridge, like who gives a shit? Like it like, and a lot of things have flaws, but like I wanted to put Motherland up here so bad. Maybe season 3 next year. Like I love that show so bad. I want it in there.
True.
Yeah, I felt the same way about like DuckTales. Like I want to put DuckTales in there, or like Hilda and Sweet Tooth. Shit, I forgot about Lupin because it was listed as 2020.
Okay. Yeah, but it technically came out in 2019 in Japan. So like, and then 2020 in the US. So like you can't, but we saw it this year.
Yeah, that's a great movie. So like that sort of thing. I maybe if I sat more with Hilda, it would have ended up in my top 10, but like it didn't. My honorable mentions: Star Wars Visions episode The Twins, which I think is probably at this point one of my favorite things that the Star Wars franchise has ever produced. This is the trigger episode.
The most non-canon Star Wars thing you could possibly get.
How many lightsabers can we put on this thing?
It's the two dark side twins fighting on the Star Destroyers and on the ship. It's awesome. I love it. It's exactly what I wanted from Star Wars Visions. The guy through sheer willpower and spiral power makes his lightsaber grow. Spiral power. Gurren Lagann. All right.
Brandon says the Star Wars I want is Gurren Lagann.
Yes.
I don't want Star Wars to be Star Wars. I want Star Wars to be Gurren Lagann.
It'd be pretty cool. I might watch Gurren Lagann again and soon. I just got a notification that my Dragon Ball article was put up. I'm very excited. I got to finally write about Dragon Ball.
Nice.
Only Murders in the Building almost made it into my top 10. That was an incredible show. I really loved how they did the mystery of releasing it like every week was really smart. People could engage with the show. People could speculate about who the killer was. Loved it. Great performances all around. But didn't quite make it in my top 10. Ghostbusters Afterlife was pretty close to entering my top 10.
I'm surprised it didn't.
I really loved that movie. But at the end of the day, the I said it on the review, the pure fact that they use Gozer again is what kind of knocks it down from that moment. Like if they had not done that, if they had gone with a different villain, I would have probably loved it a lot more. But I did love it nonetheless. I think it's a great movie. Can't wait for that DVD so I can watch it again. So that's my honorable mentions. And then finally, Invincible season 1.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
That didn't make your top 10.
It was a tough call.
No, I get it.
I really wanted to put Invincible Season 1 on my top 10, but I just couldn't find the time, find the space for it. And I was like, honorable mention then. Great season. Incredible season.
Since we've got some time because Ben's not here, like I definitely had to do a lot of like, how I want my top 10 at this point because there was just too many things. I was like, how long has this lingered with me and how much has this meant to me? That's how I had to bring it down. And like, that's what kept Motherland keep going like, bump, even though there were other things like in my honorable mentions where I'm like, I think this is probably a better product, but like Motherland means more to me. And so I kept like,
yeah. There's a place where Invincible could potentially go that I just barely beat it out. And I was like, well, I guess it's this one and not Invincible.
Sure.
But like I loved Invincible. Cannot wait for that second season.
And like I can't get over that there's like 20 things that I'm sure I would love and have put in the considerations on here that I didn't even get to, like Midnight Mass or
Midnight Mass
show up on Ryan's list.
For me, Arcane, like I'm sure I would have put that on my list.
Oh man, doing this was so much easier before I watched Arcane and Matrix Resurrections. Before I had those two in the roster here, this was so much easier.
Right.
I'm gonna add one more to my honorable mentions.
Do it because we got time.
Because it's so hard because there are just so many good things that I don't want to knock something off this list. So potentially my number 10 is now my honorable mention. It is Matrix Resurrections. I like that movie a lot. I love that movie, but like I had a really good year this year.
Yeah, that's true.
So Matrix Resurrections is now honorable mentions.
Yeah.
That's still like shit.
That's still. I got a lot of good stuff.
I think that's knowing where I put Matrix Resurrections compared to what you're saying and how you were about that. Like, I think I also have
half of my list you haven't half of my things you haven't even watched or played.
That's true.
So it's gonna be that way.
How long do we wait for him?
We don't.
We don't. I mean, he decided to leave the podcast.
He decided to say he was available, so now we know.
That's true. I hope he hears this, that fucker. All right. So who wants to go first then with their number 10?
We'll do it the way we usually do, which is usually a round table. Normally, we would have Ben go first at this point because he started with honorable mentions, but he's not here. So Ryan, you'll go ahead with your number 10, then
my number
10, then Brandon.
10. I have a feeling there's going to be a couple things that are on each of our lists.
Oh, I'm sure.
But my number 10 is Halo Infinite. I didn't beat the campaign.
Damn.
There's a lot of good stuff on here. But also like that multiplayer, even if I haven't beaten the campaign, like I've come back to that multiplayer. Like it is 100% the best Halo experience since 343 took over. Like it is the best Halo experience in 10 years. And like they are constantly updating the multiplayer system because like the battle pass launched in a really bad state and like upgrading and like unlocking things was a nightmare. You could play for hours and you wouldn't unlock shit. And they've been doing constant updates left and right and giving you stuff for free to like, hey, we know we messed up and we're making it better. Luckily that gameplay loop is so effing good. Oh my god, like I'm mad that I don't get to play it more. Like I don't feel good enough to want to play it because like it deserves so much of me. It's so good.
How cool is that like a year ago you didn't think you're gonna like it, let alone put it in your top 10?
Absolutely. There are a couple things on here that I feel that way about, where I'm like, it's always great to be like, to just like be open-minded enough where like anything can be good, and like especially that team, like 343 deserves such like a win because like we were all bagging on that game for good reasons. It didn't look good. And they're like, we're going to take a year off. I mean, we're going to work, but we're going to delay it a year. We're sorry. And then a year later, it's like one of the best games of the year. So it's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
And Sparks. I can't wait. One day we'll all play it together.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah.
Sparks.
My number 10 is KO Knockout City.
That's mine as well.
There it is. That game feels so good. Like I love that game. I love playing that game. I wish more of my friends loved playing that game. But I love that multiplayer feel of that game. Like just every time that you win, it feels good. Every time that you move and do actions in that game, it feels good. They nailed that gameplay for what that game is of dodgeball so well. And I've really been taken with it. And even though I don't get to play it as much as I'd probably like to, like when I do, it is an emblematic of a multiplayer gaming experience I really want, because I feel like you can do such good teamwork so well, so quickly, without communication. Like everything, like you can communicate, but like just paying attention and like passing and throwing and like getting to move with each other and just understanding what you need to do. Like we played last night, like with you and Marty and I, and we had some incredible like pass, boom, knockout, done.
Yeah.
Like we were just working in sync, and that you don't get that in all the multiplayer games, and that I find that happens so often with KO Knockout City. I'm so in love with it, and I love the aesthetic of it. So yeah, that's my number 10.
Awesome. Yeah, what?
No, I was just making a joke because Ben's not here.
Oh, actually, I think he's wrapped up his call. I don't know what's happening. I'm sure he'll pop in when he's ready.
Pop it up.
My number 10 is also Knockout City, as I mentioned. I fell in love with that game in a way that I didn't think I could for multiplayer games like it. I really liked playing that game by myself. I loved playing it with friends. I wish more of my friends liked playing it, like Spark said. I agree. That game just feels so good. And it was something that I really wanted to get good at. And I spent a lot of time in it. And I really, I just fell in love with it. It was really just at the end of the day, like I was shocked at how much I loved it. Ben's back.
Hi, Ben.
He's got it, guys.
I'm getting published.
Nice.
Very cool, Ben.
Congrats.
Sir.
Yeah, sorry. I know. I saw all your faces and like, oh, there he's gone.
It's okay. We just talked shit about you for about 5 minutes, and then we can.
No, that's not normally what happens.
Right. So yeah, I love Knockout City. So that's my number 10.
Nice.
Ben, why don't you give us your number 10 and your number 9?
Yes. So my number 10 is WandaVision.
Wow.
Now, I put WandaVision on here because I loved how different the show was. I love how the first 2 episodes were, they were essentially 1950s and 1960s sitcoms, and I thought that was a very different approach. It was something. I mean, yes, the finale could have been a little better, but the event of sitting down and waiting to see what was going to happen next filled me with anticipation I haven't felt within a very, very long time. And just to speculate with you guys about Mephisto, with all the crazy stuff, like when Evan Peters showed up, like just it brought me back to the days of watching Game of Thrones and meeting with my friends the day after the show and just essentially water cooler talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I highly enjoyed the show. I thought Elizabeth Olsen was great. Paul Bettany is always a treasure. And the show was great, and I cannot wait to see what happens. Especially, I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange. So that's my number 10.
Very cool. Ben, what's your number 9?
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm glad.
I'm gonna keep going. Hold on, Ben. I'm gonna keep going. Okay. All right, cool.
So yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's on there. I never thought I was gonna put Zack Snyder's Justice League on here because honestly, I wanted it to be bad because I wanted the Snyder. I did not want the Snyder Cult to win. It was never against Zack Snyder as a person. And the more I watched it, the more when I saw it, the more I thought about it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am glad his true vision, got to the screen. And with a few minor critiques, like I still really don't like what he did with Superman, but everything else, the way he handled Darkseid, Desaad, the other heroes, the way he had Barry run back in time, essentially in a mini Flashpoint nod to make it so Darkseid doesn't eliminate everyone. I really liked. It's a feast for the eyes. It was fun. It kept me engaged. I love the scene when Wonder Woman goes into that chamber in Egypt and she sees Darkseid as an ancient painting. I thought that was really cool. So, am I glad the Snyder Cult won? Hell no, I do not. The way they fought and bullied, I did not like that. But Zack Snyder himself won this, and I am glad, and I'm happy for him. And also, it was a really good product. Yes, it's 4 hours long.
I was gonna say,
oh my god,
Ben,
it's 4 hours long, but it's still very
on
good.
Your top 10. It's like on your top 10, so you must like it at least a little.
I did. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Good. Me too.
So
Yeah.
it is a good movie, and it's a good movie. It's definitely a good experience, and I'm glad he finally got it. So, Zack Snyder, I tip my imaginary hat to you, sir. Congratulations, you deserve it.
I definitely thought about it because it was in my honorable mentions. Like it might have been there, but it didn't quite go there.
It's a new day.
But I get you.
Ben, did you hear us go through honorable mentions and our 10s?
I heard your honorable mentions, but not your 10s.
Okay, Ryan's was Halo Infinite.
Nice.
Sparks' was
Knockout
City, and so mine
Awesome.
was Knockout City. Cool.
Nice. That's a great game. That's a great game.
Number 9, Ryan.
Number 9. I think I did this
Number
last
9.
year. And I'm
I wish I could make like a graphic.
Number 9. I didn't do a thing. I did a person, and I did this last year, and I'm doing it again. I just wrote Al Ewing again because that guy finished Immortal Hulk.
Can confirm Ryan did do this last year.
Yeah.
He did Hulk, he did Sword, he did Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he's on Venom. I only read one issue of Venom, but he's on Venom. Al Ewing is like, there's only a couple books that I would read immediately after picking them up because like I let some books like stack up for literally like a year. If Al Ewing's name on it, like I wanted to read it immediately. Hulk's a different story because I didn't want it to end because 50 was the last issue, so I deliberately put that off until the year was over, and I'm like, okay, now I have to read it. So like all of Al Ewing's work is my number 9. I love that man. He in Guardians of the Galaxy, Dormammu is reborn through Ego, and Ego was used as like a shell. So he's like a giant Dormammu thing, and then Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon switch bodies accidentally. So Doctor Doom is just hanging out in Rocket's body for a couple issues, and like that sounds insane. And like under a different writer, it would be like the worst thing ever. But it's awesome. It's awesome when Al Ewing does it. So Al Ewing, you're the best. Can't wait to read X-Men Red.
Sparks, number 9.
Candyman.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
Candyman lingered with me long after we saw that movie. I keep thinking about Candyman. I think it's incredible that we were able to get a horror movie that did the things that movie did. Even if it's still not quite going far enough, like the power of what it has to say and the impact of what it means and the performances and how well it's filmed. Like Candyman's one of my favorite horror movies of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
it's Candyman.
Can't say it anymore. Anyway, that's it.
Mine's Halloween Kills. No.
Hey, man, like what you like.
Yeah.
My number 9 is Star Trek Lower Decks.
Okay.
This is the one that Invincible could have swapped with. Because I went back and forth a lot with like, oh, do I do but like, I really like Lower Decks. I think it's some of the best Star Trek I've seen in years. It's definitely the best of the current crop of shows. There's so much heart and love in it. It's like the Orville, but more turned up into the adult comedy area and not so much kind of parody. It's just brimming with the love of Star Trek that I didn't think it would be. I really like that show. I think it's excellent. I think even if you're not a Star Trek fan, you'll love that show.
It is a great show. I'm glad I went back and watched season 1, and it was fantastic.
Season 2 is even better.
I have to imagine that show's doing really popular because I know a lot of like people who aren't into Star Trek and they watch that show because it's like another Rick and Morty essentially. Yeah. Kind of thing.
Actually, that's Fanny.
Yeah.
When we were watching season 1 of Lower Decks, she wanted to watch Lower Decks, and she would ask me questions about Star Trek that I'm like, I gotta ask Brandon next time I see him because I don't know the answer to that question.
The giant skeleton in the beginning of season. No, I'm kidding. That's real, but I'm not gonna spoil what it is.
Please don't.
All right, Ben, you're number 8.
Number 8. Yeah, I'm doing the Smash Bros. Number 8 is Lupin the Third, the First.
Damn it! So I keep forgetting these things come out, man.
God, technically didn't come out this year, but I get you.
Japanese.
I did almost put. I'll be real with you. I almost put a joke number 1 of Dragon Ball Super Broly. Just feel like always.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So Lupin the Third, the First was fantastic. I love that movie. I thought that movie was visually gorgeous. It was so much fun, and it reminded me of asking my parents if I could watch Lupin the Third on Adult Swim. So yeah, Lupin the Third, the First, great film. Love it.
Lupin.
Yeah, I love that movie.
We'll allow it.
If I had thought it counted, I would have put it in my honorable mentions at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't put it in at all because I'm like, it's 2020,
I forgot.
2021.
Ryan,
my number 8 is a video game that I know Brandon has played called Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game by Marvel Studios. Yeah, man, just like this is like a quintessential, like if you only had one thing to show someone that like fully like is all just like, what is a Guardians of the Galaxy thing? This is it. And more than the movies, more than the comics, I think it is a perfect amalgamation of like the James Gunn stuff, but also like the classic like Annihilation comic stuff that everyone loves. It is without a doubt one of the most well-written games I've played in a long time, which is insane to think that like this Marvel Studios game about Guardians is like the most polished, like most beautiful script that I've listened to in like a long time. It's got so much heart and so much emotion. I won't say too much about it because I know Brandon wants to talk about it later too. Absolutely, like definitely the biggest like surprise of the year, even more than Halo, because I think people just wrote this game off, like for sure. I know a lot of us did, and then the reviews were coming out and like, oh, word, and like, no, man, this game made me cry multiple times. It's like crazy.
I will talk about it later in my list.
Yeah, because we'll bounce off. Yeah. So that's me. Number 8.
I'm sure had I gotten to touch it, I would have.
You would have touched
also
it. Also
had it somewhere, but
just a light touch. Oh.
Gotta get tested.
Yeah, that's how I go.
Yeah. Sparks.
My number 8 is Dune.
Yeah.
We have a whole review on it. I don't need to embellish that much. I did really like Dune. I think there's a lot of like reading the book tied with this and like the film experience, and I think doing all that puts Dune where it's at. But it's also overall a solid film that I think has some of the issues that I think Matrix Reloaded had, where it's like it's really half a movie, but I still like it. So, Dune.
Cool.
Dune.
My number 8 was actually almost Venom, but I remembered that another ending Venom, the comic book, Donny Cates' Venom.
Oh, okay. I was like,
not Let There Be Carnage.
Hey, it's fun.
Donny Cates' Venom had ended, but another comic book that I loved a lot more also ended, Birthright. Joshua Williamson. I forgot the artist's name at this point. I apologize. And really loved that book. Been picking it up since day one. It's such a beautiful story about family in a really awesomely realized fantasy world. Really loved it. It had probably my favorite single issue of the year, which was this issue where like the cover ended up being the first page of the book, and so like it was a splash cover, and then you turn the page into the splash page, and it's continuing that dialogue, and that's just how the book went for the rest of the issue. It's beautifully realized. I love that issue so much.
The art is by Andre Bresson.
Andre Bresson, thank you. I remembered Bresson, not Andre. Yeah, I really love that book. I hope that someday, if we ever do a Victor book club on it, we get to. I loved it. Highly recommend if you like what if like a 10-year-old disappeared and then a year later came back as Conan.
Hell yeah.
Ben, number 7.
So I put 2 book clubs that we read this year on my top 10, but they obviously didn't come out in 2021. So does that still count, or do I have to get them off?
We knew it.
Well, because we've done that before.
Best. No, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
We've made a rule
top
every
10
year that we all obey. That is the top 10 of 2021, which means the things that came out in the year.
That's
not
how this
the things we consumed, which is why we had a whole category in our holiday annual, which is things we consumed that did not come out this year.
Okay, well,
if we could do that, I would have put Daredevil season 3 on my list.
I thought okay, so I was wrong. But anyways, number 7 is Dune.
Cool.
I echo a lot of the things from what Spark said, and yeah, Dune was great. Reading the book definitely helped with the film, and it was. I mean, I also agree that I can't wait to see how it ends, because reading the book and only getting to a certain way in the film was it wasn't jarring, but at the same time, it's like I can't wait to see what happens, even though I know what happens technically. But it was a feast for the eyes. It was a feast for the eyes. It was very well made, very well shot. The music was fantastic. I don't have anything bad to say about Dune.
Yeah. I don't think any of us do.
No.
That's your number 7, right?
Yes.
Ryan, number 7.
My number 7 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Huh? I like this movie a lot, you guys, and I was actually struggling how high to put this. Now, definitely, it's not better than the other big superhero movie we haven't talked about yet, clearly. But I was really shocked by like I don't like Man of Steel. I really don't like Batman vs Superman, but it's in a weird way of like, like the trajectory of like the Spider-Man trilogy. It took a long time to get to where Spider-Man is now. That's how I feel now. Like, it sucks that like it took this long to get to where we are. because I think the stuff that he's doing in Justice League is sublime. I think there's some really, really, really special superheroics going on, and there's a fragility and like an emotion that he doesn't have in his other movies. There's so much hope in Justice League that just absent from the other movies, and it's like this weird arc that he's taking Superman on that should not take 10 years to get there. That's not a good trajectory for that character. But I think some of the stuff in Snyder Cut is like my favorite superhero stuff of the year. If it wasn't for Spider-Man, it would be my favorite superhero movie of the year. Because it is a movie that has a good final act, which a lot of the other movies cannot say, for my opinion. And I think the stuff that it does with Flash, while the personality stuff is bad, the way that it handles his Speed Force is like my favorite that I've ever seen in a movie. I adore the way that he handles the Speed Force in that movie. And the finale, it is my favorite finale, even more than Spider-Man, because like Spider-Man has like all the big nostalgia and all that stuff, but like that final act in the Snyder Cut is insane. It's 45. It's a huge 45-minute epic action piece that just doesn't stop. And I've watched Snyder Cut 3 times this year, which I cannot say for the other Marvel movies. And that movie's 4 hours long. So I think you should give the Snyder Cut a chance if you have it, because I think it's actually worth something. Sorry, Zach. Can't say that about BVS though.
Sparks.
My number 7 is Luca.
Nice.
Luca.
You got Bruno on your head.
Bruno.
Luca is such a pleasant experience, and I go back and either think about it or have watched even just moments from it frequently. Aesthetically, I find it incredibly pleasing and heartwarming, and I love the story. I'm deeply emotionally invested in those characters. The moment where, and I don't want to spoil moments for Luca, but the moment where like he does the really horrific turn on him, still like gut wrenching, like awful, but such a beautiful film, and I think such a beautiful final moment between the two.
Silencio.
Luca, I really loved it.
Very cool.
Man, so many things come out that I forget, man. Good year. It was a good year.
I was mostly for my list going for like what touched me. What gave me like an emotional reaction. And the good parts, baby. Free Guy is my number 7. I really, really, really loved Free Guy. It's the only film I saw this year twice in the theaters, because I couldn't get to the theater to see the other one that I wanted to, which was Spider-Man. I really, really love Free Guy. It really was an emotional, visceral reaction that I had to this movie that I just adored every frame. Love the story. I was in tears at the end of the movie. So my number 7 is Free Guy.
That would be on my honorable mentions, but that is definitely another movie where like, if you haven't seen it and like you're put off by the marketing and like maybe you've seen some like out of context clips, it's really good. And like, and like it's okay. Like it is a big like multi-conglomerate thing of like all these different billion-dollar properties together, but like it's also really wholesome and really beautiful. And I don't think enough people. It made a lot of money, but I definitely know there's a lot of people who are writing it off.
Right,
and they shouldn't. They definitely should.
I'll be talking about Free Guy more later.
Definitely for similar reasons. Like Free Guy was very close to being in my top 10, but like it categorized itself kind of closely with the feelings I got from Luca, and Luca beat it.
Gotcha. Ben, you're number 6.
Yeah, my number 6. So I know that so this is a movie, and I realize that the movie before this one is a far superior film. But the reason why I put it above that one is just how much fun I had, and also the fact that I was with you guys when we first saw it. It was the first time in the theater since the pandemic, and it's Mortal Kombat.
I thought they were going to Jungle Cruise.
No, not Jungle Cruise. I had an absolute. Although I did like that movie, I had a blast with Mortal Kombat. Just sitting there, sitting next to Ryan, or at least a seat away from Ryan, and hear him go, Liu Kang, or like all the fatalities and him laughing. And just like, it was brutal. I mean, is the movie good? I think it's good. I think it's fun. It's a fun movie. But man, just like Brandon, what you said, it hit me emotionally in a way that was just like, I was there and I was having a fun time. Yeah. And there are times where I can hear Ryan in my head. I'm just like doing my dishes, and all of a sudden I randomly hear, your friend is about to get his soul sucked. I don't know why.
It's really good. It's a really
Right.
good line.
So is that so? Like Ryan is like haunting you? Is what you're saying?
Apparently, Ryan's
He's
not
doing-
dead yet.
He's doing dishes, and then I'm just like, he's about to get his soul sucked. He loves it when he hears that noise.
I don't know why. I can just be doing some random menial task, and all I hear is your friend's about to get his soul sucked. And
I'll tell you
Ryan's
what.
voice.
This sounds
So,
like
yeah.
Ben lives in Evil Dead 2. That's
Right.
what it sounds like.
Oh my god, yeah, the moose.
I'll
is
swallow
so
your
crazy.
soul.
Mortal Kombat didn't make my honorable mentions, but that is a movie I think full of really great moments. I don't think it's a particularly great movie, but like I will forever remember Natara, the vampire lady, getting sawed in half by a hat. That will be in my brain forever.
And like
Yeah.
Kung Lao grabbing his hat and going, flow, victory. It was so just all the
If
stuff.
there was
about-
more of that, it would have made my top 10.
And even
Yeah.
though, and also, of course, the fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero at the end, it was like you hear the "get over here," just you hear the classic line, and then the fighting, and
I've returned from hell to kill you.
I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was stupid fun, but it was
Yeah.
just to me, it was one of those things where I go to movies to be entertained and to have a good time. And damn it, I had a great time in Mortal Kombat.
Good for you,
Hell yeah.
Ryan.
My numbers. I wish I put this higher now that I'm thinking about it, but that's okay. My number 6 is Pig, starring Nicolas Cage. Man, this might be Nicolas Cage's best performance. This movie, we've all seen the trailer, and it was hyped up as like John Wick with a pig. It's not. It is not that movie whatsoever. It is such a beautiful, really sad movie about like what happens like when you lose someone. And it's not even really about a pig whatsoever. Like the pig is just like the thing that happens that sets the chain of events in motion. But like it is a it is.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Oh no, I think we did.
All right.
no.
I missed
Emma
Pig.
got him.
Emma got him.
I just love how we got the Emma no, and then he froze.
Yeah, I always appreciate the Emma no. What's the movie he's talking about? Oh my god.
Pig.
Pig.
Pig. I wanted to watch Pig. He just
Me
texted
too.
LOL. I wanted to watch Pig, but I didn't get around to it. I'm sure that would have made it somewhere if I had. I also really wanted to watch The Harder They Fall.
Yeah,
which I
me
missed.
too. Yeah, I missed it as well. It probably would have ended up somewhere in here.
Yeah.
What's that movie with the Western with the Idris
The
Elba?
Harder They Fall.
The harder
okay.
they fall.
That is the one. Okay.
I'm
sorry.
No. I just love that we're talking about it. You think of it organically on your own. You're like, what was that movie? We're like, that's the movie we're talking about.
It's like that's the movie, Ben.
It reminds me of some of Justin's
I
thoughts.
will roll on because I know this next one will come up at least once more.
Yeah.
So Ryan will hear more about it. My number 6 is Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great animated movie, guys.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie.
If it had personally connected with me more than the things above this, it would have been higher, but it did not. But it's still solid film. Number 6 out of the top 10 with as many many good things that came out this year is not bad.
No,
So.
absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Ryan.
We did get the solid Emma no before you clicked out.
I was hoping that would happen. Emma,
do you want to talk a little more about Pig?
Just briefly, yeah. It's on Hulu or Amazon. It's on one of those,
Amazon.
but Amazon.
Amazon.
I highly recommend you watch it. It's like 90 minutes. It is a really beautiful story, and like Nick Cage, like this is one of those movies where like I don't think he needs to win it, but like he deserves to get an Oscar nomination because like he's like. This is one of those where like, oh man, he really could be an actor when he really wants to be, man. It's got Alex Wolff in it from like Hereditary and the Jungle Book movies and stuff. It's a really crazy movie about like the seedy underbelly of like criminal chefs and weird stuff. It's like a really cool premise. It wants to be like almost like John Wick, but for culinary. But it's not that. It's not an action movie, but it's got a cool like underworld presence to it. Highly recommend it. Like thinking now, I think I would even put it higher than I have it now. It's just because I watched it so recently. I think it's exceptional. It deserves all the acclaim that it's getting. And it's a first-time director, too, and he's doing great things.
Nice. Ben, Sparks, yours was Mitchell's versus the Machines. I'll go next.
Yes,
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Godzilla Singular Point. Sorry, I talked over the bang. Godzilla Singular Point. I really loved that show, and very much
I
in a
did
similar
too.
vein of like, you know, what stories like touched me. And like, it wasn't necessarily that like I loved what they were doing with Godzilla, even though I did. It's just I adored the story with Jet Jaguar. I thought that was so cool and interesting and bizarre, and just some really great stuff with Jet Jaguar that really like catapulted the show for me. I wear that shirt logo that they have. I'm sure you guys have seen it from the show.
Jaguar.
That's another one that was very hard for me to like say. You're going to honorable mentions. Goodbye.
Bye. Don't
I'm
turn
sorry.
around. I don't want to see your face.
Yeah. Like,
All right.
that's a great show.
Yeah, I love that show. I you know, it doesn't look like it's getting a second season, but I really hope it does. Ben, you're number 5.
Number 5 is Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show was fantastic. It was really good. I love how in the very beginning, how every time they say Invincible for the first time, it cuts to the opening card, and as the season goes on, and the mystery of Omni-Man, and even the title card gets bloodier and bloodier as the show continues, and that scene between Omni-Man and his son was just so gut-wrenching.
Think, Mark.
Yeah, just the J.K. Simmons and Glenn from Walking Dead.
That's his name. Yep,
Stephen
Glenn.
Yeun.
Stephen Yeun, thank you. Yeah, just their performances were fantastic in this movie. Everyone's performance was really great, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to season 2 of Invincible. So yeah, it was fantastic. There's nothing more I really could say about it. It was just that good.
We reviewed it, right?
We
We
did.
had a whole episode.
Cool.
We had a whole fake nerds thingy the day.
That's the beauty of our top 10s. We probably talked about all of these things in more depth.
Some of them,
Ryan,
yeah.
you're number
sure.
5.
Number 5. Number 5 is a comic book that has unfortunately reached its demise. The Final Fate of the Hellions by Zeb Wells and many other artists. This was a lot of people's surprise launch from the X books, because it's about a bunch of characters that even like X fans don't care about. People like Nanny and Orphan Maker and Greycrow and Empath and all these people that are like Z-list characters that are like supervillains. And Zeb Wells was able to turn it into a really touching story of like, what do you do with people who can't be saved? Like, what do you do with people who are so like either evil or like their mutation makes them monsters that like they cannot be controlled, and like who are the caretakers of those people? And it's just a really, really awesome story that's like, it is the craziest of all the X books. Like the wildest shit always happens in it, and it's always the funniest. And like, because we live in the Krakoa era, people can just get murdered left and right and they get resurrected. So death is happening nonstop in this book. And you got Mr. Sinister leading it.
Oh no, my precious Hellions!
Oh no, I definitely did kill them myself. The finale is like you know, obviously it's like a big book with lots of bombast, but the final page is like one of the most beautiful things that this new X line has had. And it's like there's been a budding romance between of 2 of these characters, of Greycrow and Quanon, who was Psylocke before, when her body got jacked. But like these 2 like murderers who they think they don't deserve anything in the world, slowly becoming like one with each other. And like the final page is just like one of the most like beautiful things of like, oh my God, there's hope for everybody. Like it is such a beautiful moment between these like 2 psychopaths. That I'm like, wow, like no other book made me feel this way about a guy named Greycrow, who like a year ago I didn't know anything about. And I'm just like, that's the power of storytelling, baby. They make A-listers out of everybody. Hellions is my favorite comic of the year.
Sparks, number 5.
My number 5 is Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
And it ends up there because of it being a great show. It ends up there because of the week-to-week nature really helping that show. And it's one of the few that I think ever comes out anymore, especially this year, where you not only crave that, but it is part of the experience and works so well. And to be honest, like, it might have been lower, but it's here because it was one of the last things I got to connect with my dad about.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the last things that we really gushed and shared about, and were like kind of every once in a while checking in with each other about before it came to an end. So it's Only Murders in the Building. And That's a real great show. Just really, really fantastic and knows exactly what it's doing. And I hope that everybody gets to check it out before that next season.
Nice.
Me too. That second season can't come soon enough.
I'm excited.
My number 5 is Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Wow.
Once again, going back to that feeling thing, this movie, I have been dying to go to the theater again to see it, but my girlfriend has had COVID symptoms. No COVID, thank goodness. But we were scared, so we didn't leave, and so I'm like, can I go see it without you, please? I want to see it again, and haven't had the chance. Love that movie. It's everything I wanted it to be, and honestly more. It got me into an Andrew Garfield kick, which I'll talk about a little later. What can we say? We had an hour-long conversation about it.
We did.
The last time we did this show. So yeah, number 5, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Hell yeah.
Ben, number 4.
Number 4, probably no surprise, is Free Guy, the movie that we wrote off and thought it was going to be god-awful, turned out to be one of the best movies I enjoyed this entire year. Yeah. I put it this high up on the list because of how surprised I was and how much I love this movie. Brandon was the reason why I went and saw it, because he said, dude, you have to go see this movie. And I'm glad I did. It was
20 minutes into the movie, Ben. 20 minutes into the movie, I turned to Zara and I said, Ben needs to see this. And then the credits roll, I turned on my phone and I texted you, you need to see this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I did. This movie was fantastic. It was fun. And I know we did review on it, so more details go in there. But I need to get this movie. I'm probably going to own this movie on Blu-ray soon. This movie was that good.
Sweet, sweet fantasy.
Love that movie. Ryan, your number 4?
My number 4 is a little indie movie called Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Ooh.
I definitely had to see this movie twice because I swear to God, I am pretty good. Like Last Jedi aside, I am pretty good about knowing how I feel about seeing it. Like after I see a movie once, like I know who I am. I got my feelings on lock. And after I saw this for the first time, I was like, there's no way I love this movie as much as I do. There's no way. It has to be the hype. So I saw it again. I'm like, it's a good movie, guys. It's a really good movie. It is as much as I do like the MCU Spider-Man movies, they're not like true quote unquote Spider-Man movies, whatever that means to you. Even I can acknowledge that. This movie gives me everything I would ever want in a Spider-Man movie. Plus that. Like it gives me the old and the new, like, we have an hour-long review. You've seen Spider-Man by now, I'm sure, if you're listening to this. It is. I was worried because, like, all the Marvel movies, the stuff this year, like, hasn't really hit as much as I wanted to. And I'm like a big Marvel guy. I want them to succeed. So, like, the fact that Spider-Man was such a success, critically in box office and COVID-ly, like, yeah, man, it feels good. It feels good to be here. And I just want another Spider-Man movie to be what Sparks and all of us have talked about, street level, like Kingpin. Like if they do that, then the dream will be fulfilled. And like, I will have gotten like the perfect Spider-Man thing ever made. This is as close as you can get for me. I've been thinking about this movie literally every day since I saw it.
I first lamented, I was like, it's going to suck that the first ever Dr. Octopus pops that are going to come out, the first ever Alfred Molina Dr. Octopus pops will be for Spider-Man No Way Home and not for a Spider-Man line that Funko puts out.
They didn't exist back then.
But they haven't released it yet. And I'm like, actually, I want a Dr. Octopus Alfred Molina pop figure, if you don't mind.
Oh man, they're gonna get you the normal one. They're gonna get you the red arms one. Look at you, all of them.
I want them. I love it.
Oh yeah. So number 4 is Spider-Man.
I'm so excited to hear your top 3 at this point. My number 4 is Amazon's Invincible series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great show. This is a really, really, really great show. And I thought the top animated show for me of the year. I thought.
You thought?
I did. But Invincible's incredibly good. I really, really love it.
Do you think Amazon spent money on a show? Just wait.
Invincible killed it.
Literally.
Yeah. I think about the finale of it a lot. Obviously, it's been memed to death.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a solid show. There's a reason why it's resonated with so many people.
All right, my number 4 is The Matrix Resurrections.
I still know Kung Fu.
We will do an episode on it, so I will not talk about it in depth. I will, however, say it's a damn near perfect movie. I adore The Matrix. I always have. And I was really happy that I got to reconnect with my Matrix lovingness thanks to Resurrections. And there's a moment in a theater where I wanted to fist pump because I was stoked. I was like, love. But I was not in a theater that allowed that. So it was unfortunate. But yeah, so my number 4, The Matrix Resurrections.
I think that movie is very, 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 very good. I like it a lot. Whole lot.
Ben, your number 3.
Number 3 comes in as Mitchells versus the Machines.
Mitchells!
Very cool.
Movie. I thought that was a fantastic animated film. I have nothing bad to say about it. And I mean, once again, we reviewed it. To me, that movie is just so fantastic and so wholesome that everyone needs to watch it.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of jonesing to watch it again. To me, it was that good. Especially, I love the mall scene, especially with all the Furbies and the Furbies going, "The dark office shall begin." It's just so funny. And even when the dad is trying to go to YouTube and he's freaking out. The comedy in that movie just nails every second of it, and I love it. Mitchells vs. Machines is my number 3.
Hell yeah.
I want to real quick amend. Matrix Resurrections is another one of the century that made me cry. Just want to add that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, your number 3.
My number 3 is a little indie movie called The Green Knight. This movie came out many months ago, and that of all the movies. Even though it's not my number 1, like it is the movie that I've thought of the most this year. Absolutely. It is. You want to talk about visionaries? It's that director's name that I don't remember. But man, I need to. You haven't bought that movie, right? Yet, Sparks? Okay, cool. I buy like one Blu-ray like every 6 years because usually Sparks just gives me so many movies. But like that is a movie that is pure vibes. There's not much dialogue. And like you could take a lot out, like you can take whatever you want out of it. Like it is many different readings as you were. But yeah, Dev Patel is just a cool dude, and I just want to live in that world forever. Like if there was like a like the fireplace things you just put on your TV, I just want to put the Green Knight on just infinitely. That's why we're living that world. It's just so beautiful, and it's like some of the practical stuff they do in that movie is so imaginative. David Lowery, thank you. Yeah, David Lowery. What a guy. Yeah, that's a lot of my top 3 is a lot of big vibes. I'm a vibe guy.
Sparks, number 3.
Okay, I have to admit now that I have not yet watched the last episode of Arcane, but my number 3 is Arcane.
That's fair.
I'll allow it.
It's the animation, it's the storytelling, it's watching 40-minute episodes animated television show do a better job of showing me who these characters are and making me relate to so many different characters in its 40-minute runtime per episode than any of the MCU shows have done this year. And me going like, it can be done. It's not the fact that it's animated, it's just good writing, and like we should have better. We should have more. And Arcane is, I don't care at all about League of Legends. But now I care about a little man named Heimerdinger, and I care about this Firelight leader named Echo, and holy shit, guys! Like, believe the hype. The hype is real. Like, it's not just recency bias. It is a really, really good show. And like Arcane comes in this late because it was one of those things where like I knew from enough people who I trusted that like, oh, if I watch this, it's probably going to be pretty high up there for me. So I made great effort to make sure I saw it before we did this episode. Man, I can't say enough good things. I would love for us to be able to have a full conversation about it at some other point, because like they are doing some incredible things with storytelling, with animation. Arcane, I don't think I can overhype it. Arcane is very, very good.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing we have got a show about animation. Potentially do something. I don't know. All right, my number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game. or more accurately, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game. I really can't not stress enough that a lot of what was on my top 10 is something that like deeply moved me to my core. I felt a change in me after experiencing the story, and like I'm not talking about how good the story of Guardians of the Galaxy is, even though I think it is very, very good. I'm mostly just talking about how I personally resonated with it. It was it's just a story that really hit every button as I was going through the campaign, and just I adore this game. Might be one of my favorite games ever. Yeah, so Guardians of the Galaxy video game is well acted. The script is solid. The deep cut lore is great. It's a great representation of the Guardians of the Galaxy, who I love anyway. So like just the fact that it was just like how much it resonated with me with the story is just like the icing on the cake.
I didn't place it higher because I thought the gameplay wore out its welcome by the end of it.
Yeah.
That's the reason I haven't replayed it, because it's not a 5-hour game. It's a 15-hour game. And I don't want to do that gameplay for 15 hours again.
Yeah, that's the thing of like, if the story didn't like connect with me on such a visceral level, like the gameplay would have knocked it down a couple of notches, but like because of where it landed with me, it's
no, I get you.
There.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally agree with the gameplay.
Yeah.
Ben, you're number 2.
Continuing the joke, it's just this little indie film that you may or may not have seen called Spider-Man No Way Home.
I know what his number 1 is.
I mean,
I've been saying what my number 1 is for weeks. You all know what it is. Yeah. So it probably still is the hype, but every time I saw a Marvel property when I was done, even if I liked it, like Shang-Chi, I really liked Shang-Chi, but I'm like, man, that Spider-Man's gonna be kick-ass. Like after Eternals, but man, that Spider-Man though, that's gonna make the year for us. Every other Marvel show, even, it's like, man, still can't wait for Spider-Man though. That's gonna be great. And I loved every single second of that movie. I mean, I've only seen it the one time, which my opinion may differ the second time I see it, but
I doubt it.
Maybe not. It was that good. Like once again, just like Mitchell's vs. Machines, I don't really have anything negative to say about it. To me, it's worth its 10 out of 10 rating that I gave it, and it was worth it. It was at the end of the year, but damn it, that wait was worth it.
Yeah. It's an incredible movie. You can listen to all of us gush about it on a previous episode. Ryan, your number 2.
My number 2 is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Ooh. I love Dune with all my heart. Denis Villeneuve he's a guy who he just makes movies for me. His like filmmaking techniques and just the way he makes movies. He could have a little more emotion, Denny. You don't need to be such a sad sack all the time. But like the visuals that he's able to bring on screen are just unlike any filmmaker that like today. Like I make this joke a lot, but like he really is like who I want Christopher Nolan to be as a filmmaker. He is able to give the big bombast spectacle while having like the really good character shit that I really adore. I've listened to Dune's multiple soundtracks so many times over the past couple of months. Hans Zimmer has really outdone himself, you guys. Like I can't stress enough like how much extra material he made for this movie. There is just hours of like the music in the movie. Like if there was an open world like Dune game, he would have enough music for all of it. Like there's no lazy factor in any part of this movie. Everyone brings it. It makes me think of like epic sci-fi storytelling and just like this is an entirely different conversation, but like this is what I wanted the prequels to feel like. Like, you know, you hear the saga of like Darth Vader and like how Darth Vader became who he is. And that's what I see with Paul and who Paul becomes. And I'm like, this is the foundation where like if they make the next couple books into the movies, like this is for me, this will be my Star Wars. Like in terms of how movies are made and the things that I look for in types of storytelling, like Dune and Dune Part 2 and Dune Messiah will be my favorite sci-fi things of all time if done correctly. Mm-hmm. It just spoke to me in a way that like even you get Jason Momoa just being silly, just being, hey, I'm handsome. He's still awesome in the movie. I have very little negative to say, if anything. Again, you can hear us gush about it on the podcast that we do. Mm-hmm. They just like again, like this and The Green Knight, like they don't make movies like this anymore. And I'm just so glad that at least like one of them was super successful and it's getting a sequel.
Yeah. Sparks?
My number 2 was almost my number 1, but I had to recognize that there was some recency bias in it and really think about it. And I don't know, I'll still have to watch it a second time to make my final decision, but it's The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say a lot about that, but we'll talk about it at a later date. That movie hit me, guys. That movie hit me in a real particular way. Maybe because I consumed all of the Matrix in such a short amount of time, but
I also did.
But it worked.
That's a good movie.
I really like The Matrix, you guys. All right. My number 2 is Tick, Tick, Boom. I almost mispronounced it. Tick, Tick, Boom. This is Andrew Garfield's 3rd film that we have mentioned this year from 2021. This is about the creator of Rent, Jonathan Larson. And this is directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda in his first feature. I adored this movie. I was obsessed with it for days after watching it. 20 minutes in, I was like, this is fantastic. This is one of the best movies I've seen. I love the music. It's all by Jonathan Larson. Even though he has passed away, this is based off a stage show that he did himself before Rent came out. I have listened to that soundtrack so much. It's incredible. Andrew Garfield deserves an Oscar win for his role as Jonathan Larson. It is that good. Like he's enrapturing in that role. And it'd be great if Jessica Chastain could win Best Oscar for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and Andrew Garfield could win for Tick, Tick, Boom. Mm-hmm. That way, both cast members of The Eyes of Tammy Faye get
because like he's really good in Eyes of Tammy Faye, but that is Jessica Chastain's movie.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I cannot gush enough about that movie.
What is it? What is it on? Netflix?
It's Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It's awesome. It's the best musical that was released this year. It's one of the best movies that was released this year. I loved it.
Yeah, I wish I'd gotten to see it by now, but I haven't. My fiance watched it when I wasn't with her, so I have not seen it yet.
I was gonna choose between the 2 Andrew movies that are currently available, and I was like, I don't want to watch a musical right now, so I chose Tammy Faye.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
I'll get to it. Yeah, can't go wrong.
Yeah. Tick, Tick, Boom, incredible movie.
Hell yeah.
Ben, and sorry, real quick, and one that like really resonated with me, like about struggling artistry, and loved it. Yeah, sorry, Ben, go ahead. Number 1.
You all know it. Say it at the count of 3. 3, 2.
I don't know it.
Metroid.
Red.
Hawkeye.
Halo.
No.
Metroid. The Dodgers. The Giants.
Tell us about Metroid Dread.
So I've been talking about Metroid Dread ever since that the E3 announcement back in June, and I have just been hyped. And when I finally got my hands on it, that was the game that I could not wait to go home and continue playing. Being able to play, kind of like how you guys have watched all the Matrix films before Matrix Resurrections, and that impacted you. That was me with Metroid, because I played through all the Metroid games to get to all the 2D Metroid games to prepare for Dread. This game is fantastic. It is a true to form Metroid game that takes all the great elements that you know and love of Metroid and just turns up to 11. The boss fights are memorable. They're difficult. It's challenging. It's rewarding. You feel good at the end of Metroid. And that ending, which I don't want to spoil, even though it's been out for a few months, but that ending is just holy shit. It is a fantastic game. I am so glad that Mercury Steam was able to put out what they did. I'm so glad Nintendo is like, okay, we'll put out Metroid. And it's one that if I'm not mistaken, it's the best-selling Metroid game or the best-selling Nintendo game this year. So many people have bought this game. And now that we have spoken with our wallets, Nintendo's like, yo, people really like Metroid. And with Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon, and hopefully Metroid Prime Trilogy for the remake for the Switch comes out, more people can show Nintendo's like, look, this franchise that you've kind of put away in the closet for a while, every few decades you bust out. People want more of this, so give us more of this. And I can't wait to see where they take Samus again. So Metroid Dread, number 1 game of the year, my favorite thing to come out of 2021. Absolutely love this game.
Beautiful.
Very cool. Ryan, you're number 1.
So I forgot to add something on my list, and I'm really effing mad because it would be in my top 10, and it's not even anywhere. It's Succession. Succession is one of my favorite things of the year. It's such a great TV show, but it's nowhere on my list because I forgot I watched it until just now. My number 1 is a show I wish anybody else would have watched this year, and it's called Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is my favorite thing of the year. I have not stopped thinking about this show. It's insane. Mike Flanagan, who's done, Haunting of Hill House and Doctor Sleep and so many things. This is such an emotionally devastating show on so many levels. I can't believe that it's able to reach me in the way that not a lot of things really get to me. I can't explain what the show's about because it's a spoiler. That's why you guys haven't seen a lot about the show, because talking about the show is a spoiler because it's not the show you think it is. The way that they handle it, it's unlike anything I've ever seen before in my life. And the slow trajectory of you just seeing it's not the end of the world, but you just see dread. Just every episode gets worse and worse, and the finale, it's just you're just living in this chaos that I have not felt in a TV show or a movie in years, man. And it's all about religion. It's all about having faith. And what do you do when you do something so heinous that God gives up on you? It's about a guy who's in an accident and he kills somebody and he was drunk and he survived. So it's about him repenting all this stuff and dealing with God. And what happens when this angel comes to save you, but it's actually a devil in disguise. It is the most hard-hitting, powerful, emotional drama I have seen in a television show or movie this year. I wish I could have watched it again. It is so heavy. It is real heavy shit that TV shows just don't go there. With how much dread there is, and it might be too much for some people. But that's what makes art so special. That it's able to go to the bottom of the depths to show you what true humanity is and what chaos can bring people together in a way. And I'm God, Mike Flanagan is he is the best modern horror person, even more than Ari Aster and the Hereditary guys. He is doing such unique stuff. Watch Midnight Mass, guys. It's Ben, you will lose your shit if you watch the show, dude. Oh my God. It is so good. It's horrifying. It's emotional. You care about all the characters. Every death is impactful. And it's a limited miniseries, so it's just in and out. Watch it.
Sparks, your number one.
My number one is Hawkeye. No, it's Spider-Man No Way Home.
God, I was gonna say, what the fuck, dude? No way!
Yeah, it's No Way Home. It's Spider-Man. It got me. What can I say?
Yeah.
We've gushed about it plenty.
It's an incredible movie.
Yeah. I knew pretty early on that it was probably number one, and then Matrix Resurrections had me go, is it? And then I was like, nah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's a real good flick.
Gave me all the feels.
My number one is The Mitchells versus the Machines. I adore this movie. This is the best movie I saw this year. I've watched it multiple times.
I think you called it pretty early on that it was.
I did.
Your number one.
I did. I said it. I was like, man, this could be my number one, or I said this will be my number one. I don't remember, but yeah, I called it pretty early. I'm in tears every time I watch it. It's just such an emotional ride that I resonate with in such a personal level. Really hit me where I live, right in my heart place. And it was just wild, man. I love that movie. I love the animation. I love the story. I love the humor. Every frame has me cracking up. The howler monkey bit, or the donkey on the trail. He's with the canyon now. Leave him. Such a good movie. Yeah, that's my number one. So that's our top 10.
Yeah,
look at that. All good things.
Yes.
To an end.
I love all your top 10s, you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yours are fine, I guess. Whatever.
Fuck you.
Yeah, whatever.
It's late at night. We can say some F-bombs. All right.
Ben, did you on the dot correct your mess ups that were the comics?
maybe.
Okay.
I would keep that secret with me to the grave.
Okay.
Well, because you asked about it, and I was like, they didn't come up. Ben must have changed course mid podcast.
Shall we get into our book club then?
Oh, it's spider time.
Ryan, take it away.
Hey guys, it's Ryan, and I like Spider-Man. And after seeing a Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm like, I would like to read some more Spider-Man, please. So I picked arguably one of the best Spider-Man comics ever made, Kraven's Last Hunt, written by J.M. DeMatteis and art by Mike Zeck. This is published in 1987. And y'all, this is a rip-roaring good time if you're into sad, crazy Russian men. I would like to know first, who has not read this before?
I haven't read it before.
Okay, cool. And now I want to think, what did you think? Because obviously you hear Kraven's Last Hunt is like one of the most famous Spider-Man stories of all time. What did you think the story was going to be before you read it? Because did you think it was going to be what you read?
No. I thought it would be like 6 issues of him hunting Spider-Man.
No, that's why this book rules.
Yeah.
Me too, because I thought it was going to be like 5 issues of him hunting Spider-Man, and then issue
it's kind
5.
of like it's kind of like when we read the Silver Surfer books written by Stan Lee. We're like, oh, this is not what I thought this was going to be.
Yeah, this hot off the heels of things like Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, like everyone's looking to spice up their comics, making a little more maturity and whatnot. So like this was a thing they did with Spider-Man, and I think it is a 100% success. Because you look at a lot of older comics that are just like, issue 173 of Iron Man, and it's just, oh, he's gonna punch the Doodad Man, and it's just like, that's it. Whereas this has thoughts and like artistry and like poetry, and I'm like, shit, dude, if I was reading this when this came out, this would have blew my mind as a kid. Are you kidding me? Like, this is one of those regular comics that like transcends it just being a regular comic. I picked it, so I think it's great. I just want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Sparks, Ben?
Oh yeah, I've always liked Kraven's Last Hunt. I came to Kraven's Last Hunt because when I was, I don't know, very young.
Too young for this book.
My mom got me the Spider-Man encyclopedia book of the moment, and one of the big sections was all about like Kraven's Last Hunt, and that was like much more recent at that time. So it was a big feature part, and it wasn't that many years, but a few later that I got to actually read it. And I was like, yep, that's real. That's real. Yeah, I really like Kraven's Last Hunt. It's one of those things where like Kraven the Hunter is one of the more interesting characters when done right. And this is exactly one of the reasons. And it's one of those things where like, I kind of look back on this and I'm like, I really want there to be more stories with Kraven, but I kind of wish this was the end of Kraven.
It was the end of Kraven for over 20
years. I know. That's why.
That's why I love that. That's what's so cool about it. Because like, wow, how do you follow up that? Like, oh, I'm gonna fight Spider-Man again. I think this book rules because it has the internal dialogue for Kraven. I think is exceptional. I love his crazy poetics of like I have found mortality. I have found the meaning in the hunt. I must die soon. I will die soon, but not yet. Like, he's so extravagant. He is so Shakespearean. He's like making like these like potions out of like bugs and shit, like to give him like super strength. And you think this is like 6 issues of him fighting Spider-Man. It's not. He shoots Spider-Man in the first issue, and he is Spider-Man for the whole arc. Yeah. I think it is. I think it's really exceptional that like Kraven's this guy who's like, I am the ultimate hunter, and I found the ultimate prey, but he is the ultimate hunter. I must become him. And then as he becomes, he's like, no, something's not right. I'm missing something. It turns out he's missing humanity because Spider-Man's a good person. Mm-hmm. That's what he is missing, just his humanity. And at the end, I love that. It's just like, you're just gonna let me go, Kraven? He's like, yeah, I know what I need to know, Spider-Man. You go catch this guy. I am the winner here. And I just think this is it's not something you see in regular comics where like he goes to fight the villain. The villain's like, I'm not going to fight you. What you going to do?
Yeah, Kraven is killed at the end of the 5th issue.
He kills himself.
He kills himself.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but like Kraven is not in all the issues. The series ends with a fight with Vermin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Spider-Man gets buried, and then dude, we have some. Let me pull it up. There are some like. Obviously, like the art at the time can't be as like explosive as something like a modern days, but like they're doing some really cool stuff where like he's fighting like a giant ant, and like Peter Parker, as he's buried, he's like in the womb, and he's talking to Ned Leeds, and it's like very cool experimental shit. There's like in the issue where he buries Spider-Man, Yeah, I love that shit.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and like, oh, Ned Leeds is just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna die now. Thanks, Peter. It's like horrific, and there's the gravedigger underneath the issue, just constantly digging up the grave for Peter that eventually gets put into, and it's just like it's just
But
really.
it isn't the grave for Peter. It's the grave for Kraven.
It's the grave for Kraven, dude. I think Vermin is such a wild figure because he was just like, oh, I'm just like a man rat thing, but like his stuff with Kraven. Where he makes him like his bait, and like, cause Kraven thinks he knows who Spider-Man is, but he really doesn't, which just drives him more insane. And then he's like, "No, I figured it out. You're just a good man." And I'm like, "Man, Kraven, you're a lot, my guy. You're a lot of man."
He's just a lot of man.
Yeah.
That whole bit where he's like, "I think everybody has a spider, and for the spider, I am the spider."
Yeah, he is the spider for Spider-Man. Yeah. There's a scene where Mary Jane's out walking at night looking for Peter Parker, and she knows it's a bad idea, and then she gets like mugged, and then Spider-Man saves her. But this dude is like killing these fools, and she immediately recognizes this isn't Peter Parker, even though she doesn't see his face. It's just like little great character moments like
they
that.
They were just married before the first issue,
and they're newlyweds, man.
It's also interesting to do this during the time of the black suit, so Peter's morality is already a little like fluctuating.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's great. Did anyone else, when he says the line 2 weeks? I had to do it. But I think the thing that I love about this book is how restrained it is. Like it is like Kraven versus Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is buried for 4 issues, and Kraven is just like being the superior Spider-Man. He even says, "I am your superior." That's where the line comes from. But again, like that final issue of Peter. So crazy. He's like, I have to go stop Kraven, Mary Jane. It's like, let me leave. I have to do this. And then goes to fight him. And he's like, I'm not going to fight you. I won. I am better than you at your own job. You need to understand that. And I just
No, that's that because I was expecting Kraven hunting Spider-Man. And then finally when he catches him, he's like, cool, I caught you. I'm going to let you go. That's honestly what I was expecting. I was not expecting him shooting Peter in the face or whatever he did, and putting him in the ground and becoming Spider-Man. Like when I got to the end of that first issue, I'm like, well, this is a turn.
Yeah.
And then going through and like him going through the internal monologues and him donning the black suit and him trying to figure out what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. It's like, this is nuts. This is really poetic for and then of course the finale of the book and was like, damn. That hits.
I absolutely. So Mike Zeck is like one of the premier guys from the 70s and 80s. The final scene before he goes to confront Kraven, he says to Mary Jane, like, I'm going, Mary Jane, you can't stop me. And then it's just a couple pages of him swinging in the thunder and the crackling, and it's all just no dialogue. And then it's just a page of Kraven smiling as Spider-Man enters. And that is one of the most iconic pages of comics of all time. Because like, you don't need any dialogue. It's just like, ha ha ha, the spider is here, baby. And like, and then it's just him, and then he shoots himself in the face, and it's dialogue free again, and it ends on him as a child. And is this whole book, it's been him narrating about like, my mother was crazy, and I come from this line of crazy Russians and the dynasties, and I'm over it. I'm more of a man. I'm more of a hunter than a man. Like Kraven is awesome, and
he found civilized in the uncivilized. He found honor and truth in the jungles than any court in Russia could ever do.
Yeah.
And it was just like.
Yeah, and I think it's like, again, like I think like 1987, like it's not that long ago, but it is still like not modern comics. But like I'm just like, there's a reason this book is remembered, man. And like I love this art. Like when he's having to fight like the stuffed tiger and the stuffed alligator that are coming alive. I'm not sure if they're coming alive or not.
Yeah, it's a little unclear
because he's doing all the herbs and the drinking the spider poisons and eating the spiders.
Oh, he's all drugged up and stuff.
He's so drugged up.
Oh, I showed Fanny the panel where Kraven is in like just a room with millions of spiders, and he's just getting covered with spiders.
Punches off a monkey head.
Yeah. Just like all these spiders just like covering him, so he can be in one with the spider. It's like, what the?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna read this dialogue page, but it's Peter Parker like still like naked, crawling like basically through a womb, and he's like, all these years you've misunderstood me. You thought I was something larger than life. You thought I was magic. You thought I was madness. Idiot! There's no spiders. There's just me, Peter Parker. And I'm like, God, what a dweeb! I love him so much. Oh my God, I love him.
This section is one of my favorites. It's just the 3 panels of him taking Mary Jane's hand and holding it to his head before he goes. I really like that.
Yeah, again, like this could have been it is very theatrical and like the way that Kraven talks, but it could have been so much more. It is I, Kraven, standing on top of a mountain, Shakespearean. It's like it's more subtle than that, and like it feels heavy, and the stuff with the vermin's like gross, and like you feel bad for him because he can't control what he's doing. And there's even a point where I'll wrap it up, where Spider-Man is like he's beating the shit out of Vermin, and he's like, "You don't know what I've been through, Vermin." And then he stopped, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm beating up a rat man. He knows exactly what I've been through." And I'm like, God, this book is so good, and like all the characters realizing where they're at, and Kraven again going like, "I don't need to fight you. I've won, my guy." And then he kills himself, and I'm like, man, that's heavy superheroics. I love it.
Right, it's very personal and good at being personal very quickly.
Yeah. And
just some very striking art.
Yeah, Mike Zeck, man, like the best Kraven has ever looked. Like honestly, that dude just walked around naked in a loincloth. Like, good for you, buddy. Living your life.
All right. Do we have anything else you want to add?
Aaron Taylor Johnson should not play Kraven.
No.
Here's the thing. I agree, but he got yoked in Tenet, and I just saw a picture of him most recently, and he has never looked not like he used to look. He is so jacked. He looks like a Batman character. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe he's Bane.
No, we can't do the white guy thing again. Can't do it.
All right. So that'll do it. That's our first episode of 2021 wrapped.
Oh, good shit.
Good
our
to
first
be
episode
back.
2022.
That's exactly what I said, Sparks. Why would you correct me?
2020. I don't know.
Mario Party. Mario?
It's getting worse.
Next week we'll start our Matrix trilogy of Matrix episodes. We're going to do the Matrix and the Animatrix, then we'll do the Matrix sequels, and then we will do Matrix Resurrections. So hope you like the Matrix. We do.
Hey guys,
we're gonna be doing a lot of Matrix talk.
The Matrix came out like last year, like last month, but like if you catch up, watch the Matrix again, watch the sequels again. They're better than you remember, I bet.
Yeah. So that'll do it. I also want to mention that I'm going to be writing a piece for my top 10 for my blog on our website. I'll put up some in-depth thoughts that I didn't say here, something more concise than just my lovingly rambles. So I'll put that up there.
Brandon gets extra top 10 content. Do you hear that, everyone? Go see Brandon's extra top 10 content.
You guys have blogs, you can do it.
Top 11.
I'll do a top 30.
Do it. I don't care anymore. We did the episode.
It's over.
It's over. All right. So there you go. Welcome back, everyone. 2022 off to a start.
It started.
It definitely did. You can check out some things coming up. I've been hard at work behind the scenes to get conversation back. Oh, Mag.
Thanks for stopping by, Mag.
Will do. Thanks, bud.
Always a pleasure, Mag.
Always.
So conversation will be back this year. Over on our YouTube channel. If you like this video and you subscribe to this channel, you can check out some of our other shows we got there. We got Fake News Watch, where we talked about up top. We have some new episodes of Fake News Watch up there. Did you want to say something, Sparks?
Do you want me to interrupt with sad news that I just saw, or do you want to just...
What is it?
I also saw. I wasn't sure if we were going to.
What is it?
Bob Saget passed away while we were...
No!
63?
65, I think.
65?
Oh my god.
Yeah, 65.
Rest in peace, Bob. Did they know what it is yet? Did they say? I didn't look it up.
No. They just said that he passed away at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando.
That's a bummer. Do we know if he was anti-vaxxer or anything like that?
They said there was no foul play.
Okay.
Or drug use.
Danny Tanner.
Danny Tanner.
Man.
Rest in peace, Bob.
America's Funniest Home Videos. Oh boy.
Man, that guy was very famous for like being very PG, and then he went very rated R for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget, he always talked about sticking his pinky in E.T.'s butthole. That he made a lot of butthole jokes. I will always remember that.
He was too old for that joke.
Yes, he was.
Right. So
rest in peace, Bob.
But if you want to check out our YouTube page, like I said, like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. You can check out Fake News Watch. There's a couple episodes up there. We may be doing more. Stay tuned. You'll know when we got more out. Just look at our Instagram. Basement Arcade, Mortal Kombat X has started. COVID reasons has delayed the next episode, but it's up. The first episode, it's up. New Mortal Kombat. Basement Arcade pause menu. As I said, there was an episode prior to this.
Mhm.
Prior to this week.
Yep.
Fake Nerd Book Club and Animation Station. Hopefully, we'll get those back up and running this year. That'd be fun. Like I said, stay tuned for anything. We won't make any like future announcements. Just watch our Instagram space, our social media space, to be like, look, there's a new episode of a thing.
Hey,
crafted by Z Masks, guys. The pandemic's not getting any better. It's not. Wear masks.
It's really like unfortunately getting worse.
Yes,
if it were possible.
And we have no help this time. We're alone in this fight.
Put my glasses on, going to sleep. Sleepy Joe.
So wear some masks if you want. We still got a couple of our Fake Nerd Podcast masks. Check out our Patreon.
What?
Patreon and TeePublic. Okay. Check out our TeePublic, where we got a bunch of shirts. Our Patreon will be up and running this year. My girlfriend is taking over the making of the Patreon shirts, so we'll get that back up and running. She's got a market to do this month, but then afterwards we'll hopefully make true on that promise that I really want to make real. So subscribe to our Patreon. Buy some stuff on TeePublic. And you can check out all of the stuff on our website at FakeNerdPodcast.com. Like I said, we got blogs there. If you want to check out some of our writings, some of my writings, some of Ben's writings. Sparks will put up something. Ryan, maybe? Nope,
not me.
So you can check out all that stuff there. Links to everything. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you to everyone who came back for us in a new year. We greatly appreciate all of you guys who watched this live show, who watched the rewind, and who listen on the audio feeds. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our musics. He created an awesome new theme music for our holiday annual with Sparks' beautiful visual. And then the Santa hat Ben Magnet at the end.
That was funny. I was not expecting that.
You can check out his stuff at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards, and you can find his podcast, Suburban Proctologist, on iTunes, Facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at SubProc Podcast. Mike Mottola, the great Mike Mottola, will hopefully get on the show soon this year, now that we are back with another trivia challenge he wants to do that I think we all want to do. You can find him. He does our logos. You can find him at Mike Mottola on Instagram and TikTok. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. I also write for Screen Rant. You can check out that link below. Ben?
You can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter, and also not just writing for the website, now officially getting published in Old School Gamer magazine.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay.
I'm happy for you, man.
Thanks.
Sparks.
You can find me desperately needing to watch the last episode of Arcane at SparksWitty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
And Ryan.
You can find me participating in the new X-Men vote going on tomorrow on Twitter.com at DJ Tony Snark. Vote for your favorites, please, except if you don't like them, then don't do that at all.
Subscribe to us on iTunes,
That's
Stitcher,
if you only like them in the movies.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcast, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and until next time, stay fake nerds.